A Napa guy knows not to judge a man by his car's multicolored paint job or absence of modern gadgetry. Who cares if it's technically old enough to vote and the windows are powered by the strength of your left arm? Your monthly payment is zero, and it'll stay that way. Because with over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. She may not be pretty, but she's all yours. That's Napa know-how.
Blog Talk Radio.
Here we go. Blast off.
This is True Capitalist Radio. True Capitalist Radio.
I am your host, the man they call Ghost.
The badass of business.
Give him capitalism or give him death.
That's it. Period.
Broadcasting from his Skyline office studios in beautiful downtown Austin, Texas.
You sound fruitier than a box of Fruit Loops, for Christ's sake.
And now, he'll take it from here. Your host, the prognosticator of prognosticators, the man they call Ghost.
Thank you for tuning in with me to another edition of True Conservative, Jesus Christ, True Capitalist Radio, for Christ's sake. What am I talking about? Let me slap myself into reality here. Jesus Christ. I mean, anyway, this is episode number 65 for all the people that are keeping track with the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. If you could please retweet the broadcast as we speak. Retweet the broadcast. blogtalkradio.com/ghost is the link to send them. And as you can see, we're in another helter-skelter marketplace. But once again, if you have positions that have long-term potential growth, and what I mean by long-term potential growth, I'm talking about anything that you know isn't going to go anywhere for at least another 5 years, and if you can hold on to your positions, and you know you're going to have profitability, you know there's going to be demand, and fundamentals are good to whatever stock you are holding, just kind of gut through all the turbulence that's happening here in the marketplace, folks. The long-term investor will prevail. If you happen to be fortunate enough to be able to take advantage of day trading, there's a lot of opportunities in day trading when it comes to the high volatility that we're seeing in the marketplace here. Lots of volatility, stocks going up and down. No kidding. I mean, if you take a look at the chart of any stock, the volatility is unbelievable. But let's go ahead and get through the markets, and let's go through this hump day edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. Let's go ahead and go over the market, shall we? And once again, please retweet the broadcast. Go to the social networking sites, go to the blogs, and spread it around. Spread it around like wildfire. And we can get some peeps up in here chatting, calling, and discussing capitalist endeavors. Anyway, let's get to the markets. The Dow Jones Industrials closed out today at 12,271. An increase of 7.41 points, a percentage increase of 0.06%. S&P 500 closed out modestly on the plus side. It increased 0.25 points. It closed out today at 1,314.41, a percentage increase of 0.02%. The NASDAQ was the bigger gainer today. Real big gain in the NASDAQ if you happen to hold any of these NASDAQ stocks. The NASDAQ closed out today at 2,761.52, an increase of 16.73 points, a percentage increase of 0.61%. And let me tell you, it was highly volatile in the markets. If you were following any stocks in the markets today, we saw the market is down as far as 90 points on the Dow Jones Industrial. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, seriously. Unfreaking believable. I mean, this is what I've been saying, for Christ's sake. The volatility is unbelievable. We were down 90 points in the Dow Jones Industrial. The damn thing closes out plus 7 points, almost 7.5 points. This is just a helter-skelter market, folks, and you would think, right, you would be like, okay, since we had not necessarily great gains in the equities markets, but modest gains, one would think that you would see a reflection in the commodities market by seeing the commodities down today. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at commodities, shall we? Because commodities weren't down. And once again, this just emphasizes and underscores what I've been saying all along, that the fundamentals of investing are just completely down. They're down the tubes. People are impulsive buying. They're impulsive selling. And it just comes down to news, and it comes down to earnings. This is what's going to drive stocks in dramatic form on the plus side or the downside. And that just seems to be the reality of the new investment game that all of us are having to partake in because of these damn assholes in the investment market that don't know how to invest anymore. But let's see how much the commodities market increased, even though we saw plus sides or modest plus sides on the equities markets. Brent crude oil. Brent crude oil, of course, is the crude oil that's shipped off to Europe and Asia. It saw some dramatic decreases yesterday. It increased today. Got some buybacks in that Brent crude. It increased $2.08, a percentage increase of 1.72%. And it closes out today at a price of $123 a barrel of Brent crude oil. Gasoline futures, we also saw some sell-offs in the gasoline futures. Well, got a bunch of buybacks today. It increased $9.50. A percentage increase of 0.94%. Heating oil futures are back up today. They are up $3.44, a percentage increase of 1.08%. Natural gas futures are starting to spike up after we saw dramatic sell-offs in that. I mean, it's been helter-skelter in the natural gas market. Natural gas is up 4 cents, a percentage increase of 1.15%. Now, let's go to WTI sweet crude, the crude oil that the United States consumes in, and which should be a concerning factor in everybody's mind, whether you're somebody who invests in the market or somebody who doesn't. This should very much concern everyone, the WTI sweet crude price. And today, you would think, since you saw modest gains in the equities markets, you would think that you would see the price reflected on the negative in the WTI sweet crude. Well, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I know that all the little Wall Street covering financial sections of all the internet news circuits were all saying, oh, yeah, oil's down, oil's down. Well, you know what? We've had a rally. All right? Everything's up, for Christ's sake. You know, I mean, once everybody started selling off, people started getting in and bottom feeding. And once again, no consistency. I repeat, no consistency when it comes to the fundamentals of investing in the economic landscape in today's marketplace. I mean, you would think today closed out on the plus side. It wasn't much on the plus side, but it was on the plus side in the equities markets, even though it was down considerably today. But we did finish off on the plus side. You would think that you would reflect the complete opposite in the commodities markets. But no. You understand? I mean, seriously, but absolutely not. This is what we have here. WTI sweet crude is up $1 today, a percentage increase of 0.94%. It closes out today at $107.25 for a barrel of WTI sweet crude oil. That's the oil that the United States consumes and then refines into gasoline. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, let me continue on with the agriculture because let me tell you, I mean, there's just no consistency, man. I mean, I just wish that the investors were, understanding like the old days. They basically realize, hey, there has to be some kind of strategy around my investing. It seems to me that, these assholes are just monitoring a couple of little sectors and they're just kind of riding the waves without any kind of guidance, without any kind of idealism when it comes to investment strategy, man. I mean, it's stupid. Let me continue on. Agricultural commodities, canola is up today, $5.10, a percentage increase of 0.90%. Cocoa futures, we're still seeing spikes there. You would think that the capturing of the dictator or that ruthless president, butcher, Laurent Gbagbo, you would have thought that the capture of this bastard would have brought down the price of cocoa, but it just doesn't seem to want to go away. You've got a lot of butchery that happened between the two sides in that particular unrest in the Ivory Coast, a lot of killing, a lot of murder. And that just doesn't go away. You know, when you go out and you kill somebody's family and you butcher somebody's wife and you butcher their kids because, you know, one president doesn't want to step down from a goddamn country, you know, these people don't seem to forget about those types of things. So this is why you're continuing to see a little bit of unrest. You know, you're continuing to see murder out there in the Ivory Coast because the transition from, you know, capturing Gbagbo, which was the guy who started all this unrest, and transitioning it to the opposition, which Gbagbo ordered his loyals to slaughter, you know, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be a little bit of a different situation, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I mean, it's going to be kind of a rough transition, to say the least. I mean, you got a lot of bad blood out there. Just, you know, I mean, anyway, let's just continue on. Cocoa futures are up $14, a percentage increase of 0.46%. Coffee futures are starting to continue to increase. I mean, you know, we saw sell-offs within the past couple of weeks. Within the past several days, we've seen increases, and the increases continue today. Today, coffee is up $6.80, a percentage increase of 2.46%. Corn futures continues their rise, folks. I mean, you know, when are you going to get tired of this crap? You know, when are you going to get tired of this, you know, corn going up the wazoo? And I've been saying it over and over again. We can thank our government, the United States government, giving subsidies to this ridiculous idea of corn ethanol, which is basically turning food into ethanol to burn. I mean, we are burning food. And then we wonder why the damn corn futures are up the ass. You know, then we wonder why this is happening. Well, you know, Jesus Christ, no shit, Sherlock. Anyway, let me continue on. Cotton is down. At least we're seeing some commodities down. They're down $4.93 today, a decrease of 2.66%. Wheat futures are also down today. They're down $9, a decrease of 1%. Sugar futures are down. They're down 72 cents, a percentage decrease of 2.95%. All right, sugar decreased today at 2.95%. Soybean futures, man, we've been seeing constant sell-offs on soybean, constant sell-offs, but now we're starting to see buybacks. Soybean futures are up $4 today, a percentage increase of 0.30%. And after consistent complete lumber desecration in the futures market, I mean, let me tell you something. Lumber futures have been going down every day for the past 2 weeks, every single day. And I've been urging people to try to go out and become Mr. Super Dad or Super Mom and possibly go out and take advantage of the low prices in lumber, because let me tell you, the lumber future should reflect the price of lumber in today's market. You should go out there and take advantage of the low prices and go build your kid a damn tree house. You know what I mean? Or go build your kid a damn little playhouse, a little princess playhouse or something. If you got a daughter, if you got a son, build them a little fort, build them a tree house. You know, do something positive for Christ's sake. I'm sick and tired of people just, you know, sitting there throwing their kids in front of a violent video game or in front of a boob tube or an electronic widget. And then, you know, when they turn 15 and 16 and they're becoming sexual deviants and, you know, they're becoming, people with criminality, they wonder why this is happening. Well, this is why it's happening, for Christ's sake. This is why it's happening. But anyway, we're starting to see buybacks. The bottom feeders are coming in. They're trying to scrape up on some of this low lumber future price. It's up today, $10, an increase of 3.76%, and we were expecting, you know, some kind of an increase of this nature on a daily basis. We just didn't know when. We just continue to see a free fall. You know what I mean? Continue to see a free fall in lumber futures. So hopefully that reflects the price of the market out there. Anyway, oat futures are down $4. They've decreased on a percentage today at 1%. We've got soybean oil futures up 12 cents, a percentage increase of 21 cents. And wool futures are seeing a dramatic increase today after seeing just flat all around on that general market. They're up today $12, a percentage increase of 0.92%. Let's go to the metals market, shall we, folks? Because it's been rather volatile in the metals market. Anyway, we got copper continuing its decrease. A lot of sell-offs after all-time highs were hit a couple of weeks back in the copper futures market, but they're starting to pull back. Today it was down $10.25, a percentage decrease of a percentage decrease of 2.33%. So let me tell you, copper took a hit today. So that's one reflection of one commodity that would, reflect why never mind. It's no use explaining fundamentals in this helter-skelter market, in this market filled with impulsive buying, filled with, impulsive news-related pops and that sort of thing. So there's not even a question. Anyway, gold. Let's go on to gold. We saw sell-off on gold and silver yesterday. You knew that wasn't going to be forever. People were just kind of scared because, let's be honest, the president has been laying out his particular tax plans and his budget cuts, and he's been saying a lot of things for the past couple of days. And in my personal opinion, it's only scared the market. It just scared the market. Yesterday, if you look at the futures market before the market opened, all NASDAQ, S&P, Dow Jones Industrial Futures were all on the upside, but yet we decreased dramatically and closed out. What was it? Dow Jones was down over 100 points. Everything was down yesterday. Why? Because the damn president came out and said, "Hey, we're going to spend money, baby. We're going to keep spending money, but we're going to cut later." That's what we do. We're going to cut later, baby. And, that's why you saw sell-offs all around. There was no reflection of any kind of gains anywhere. It was really pathetic. But gold is up $4.20 today, a percentage increase of 0.29%. It closed out today at $1,457.80. $1,457.80. So, like I said, man, we're flirting with that 1,500 mark in my view. And as the year goes by, as the government continues to spend money, as the devaluing of the American dollar continues because of our fiscally irresponsible government, I can see those prices going up to 2,000, 2,005, possibly 3,000 if the government really doesn't get its act together. But we'll see. With all this cutting talk in Washington, right? With all these guys saying, we're going to cut this, baby, we're going to cut that, we're going to cut this and cut that. Yeah, right. It's a bunch of cosmetic cutting, and it's ridiculous. Anyway, let's go back to silver. We saw modest sell-offs in silver yesterday, but they're back up. It's up 56 cents today, a percentage increase of 1.41%. It closes out today at $40.63 a troy ounce. And I can see silver going to $50. I think by the summer, maybe into the fall, it may be, it may be seriously hitting that even sooner. It just depends on the reflection of the market. So keep your eye on silver, But anyway, it closes out today at $40.63. Let's go to livestock because the livestock futures have been selling off. But you knew those bottom feeders were going to come back and start scraping up some of those sales that were selling off during this impulsive sell-off that we've been having here. Livestock starts off with live cattle futures. Live cattle are up 20 cents, a percentage increase of 0.17%. Cattle feeder futures are up $1.25, a percentage increase of 0.92%. And what have I been saying about lean hog futures, baby? I've been saying, I've been bullish on them. If you want to short them, if you want to, it's a short play to begin with, but lean hogs have been going and going and going, haven't they? Anyway, they're back up today, $2.25, an increase of 2.26% today alone. I mean, good God. And anyway, folks, that is the markets for your ass. And anyway, I would like, for everybody who has any questions or wants to, chime in on anything that we have to talk about today, to give me a call. 646-652-4869 is the number to call here. Like I said, if you're somebody that just disagrees with me, if you're one of these ass clowns that I see sometimes in the chat room, flapping your fat Dorito-stained fingers on the keyboard, talking a bunch of malarkey about me. I mean, why don't you, go to the nearest phone and give me a damn call, you milky lickers. How about that, huh? Give me a call. Anyway, let's continue on, shall we? What do we have on the agenda here? We got a whole bunch of things. There's always something on the agenda. Always, baby. Anyway. Another volatile day on the markets, and the equities close up on the plus side, yet you would think that there would be something on the negative side when it comes to commodities. Nothing, with the exception of copper, but nothing else. Anyway, I kind of just want to go over a little bit about what Obama is outlining as his deficit reduction plan. Yeah, that's right. That's what's really kind of, setting the market off keister a little bit. He's promising to cut the deficit by $4 trillion within the next 12 years with a combination of spending cuts and tax increases on the wealthy. And let me tell you, that's really is going to, set the market off on the downspin, and that's what you're seeing here. That's what's been happening. That's exactly what's been happening. Obama's like, yeah, baby, people put me up in here, baby, because I'm for the people, baby. I was put here to spread the wealth, baby. That's what you got to understand. Y'all people isn't understanding. Now, I was put in the White House so that I could spread the wealth up in this mofo. You understand, baby? And not to mention all you rich white honkers out there, all you rich white cracker-ass crackers out there sitting over there making all this money, I'm going to tax your ass. I'm going to tax your ass so that my ass and my boys' ass and my people's ass can get their ass covered or something, baby. I don't know what I'm talking about, baby. You know what I'm talking about. I'm drinking too much Coke 45. But anyway. The reason I want to talk about this is because the left, believe it or not, the left feels like they have been betrayed once again by Obama. That Obama slapped him in the mouth with this, deficit reduction proposal, this deficit reduction plan, because he is actually ready to deal with entitlements like Medicaid or Medicare. He's actually considering, we'll do something with them. All right? If y'all on the right over there want to go ahead and, talk about Medicaid and Medicare, because remember, Paul Ryan, this disgusting, Eddie Haskell-looking bastard. I forgot what state he's from, but he came out the other day with his tax plan saying, we got to cut this, and we got to cut that, and we got to cut this, and we got to cut that. And, of course, that I rated the whole left wing of the political persuasion, and this is what we have here. This is what we have. Anyway, the president knew that he had to come up with some kind of a compromise, because he's actually having to kind of work at this point. Remember, he's trying to run for re-election. This isn't about just kicking back and, turning the White House into the outhouse. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, he actually has to do something now. He can no longer continue to, act like, hey, it ain't no thing to turn this into Junkyard America, baby. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, man. That's right, baby. I turned this into Junkyard America, baby. That's what I did. Because y'all elected me, baby. The people's elected me, baby. Junkyard America, baby. Chicken wings. Yeah. Come on, baby. Welcome to Junkyard seriously, folks. I mean, I'm not trying to kid around here. This is a serious situation. The left is pissed off at Obama because they feel that Medicaid, Medicare shouldn't even be touched. You know what I mean? They're all about entitlements. They're all about keeping bureaucracy. And if they're going to have to touch these bureaucracies of Medicaid, Medicare, there's going to be some major cutting. There's going to be some major layoffs. Bureaucrats that are in this system are probably shaking in their boots right now. They don't know what the hell's going on. And, of course, this hits the unions. These unions have gotten so fat off of the political clout that they've been able to build with this liberal regime out here. Once again, they feel backslapped because, oh, man, you're going to just go out and you're going to take away Medicaid and Medicare, baby. I mean, give me a break, man. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Of course, they're going to have tax reform, folks. And if you happen to make over $250,000 a year, let me tell you, if you are listening to this program and you think that $250,000 a year is a lot of money, well, maybe you should just turn this program off. All right? Because let me tell you something. The only way to make it an upper middle class in this new inflationary America, in this new America where the American dollar isn't worth diddly, in this new America where we're just having to settle with, substandard mediocrity because of our education system dumbing down our children and the entertainment system stupefying the social atmosphere. I mean, it's just utterly disgusting and disgraceful that, we have to sit over here and say that, $250,000 too much money for people to make, baby. And that doesn't just include a single person who makes $250,000. That means if you and your wife are successful people, if you're successful people and y'all are professionals, y'all are, somebody who climbs your way up the corporate ladder or whatever the case might be, you make over $150,000, $175,000. Let me tell you something. You are going to be impacted by this particular proposal by Barack Obama. And let me tell you, pays are going to increase, all right? Pays are going to increase because, unfortunately, we got so much inflation going on. And as inflation goes higher, $250,000 in the next couple of years ain't going to be worth dick. Excuse my French. I mean, at the rate of inflation, $250,000 in 3 years is probably the equivalent of $90,000 today, or possibly 80,000, last year. I'm not the exact mathematical wizard as calculating inflation, but if you just read the chart and see how it's going. I mean, I don't like this boundary of $250,000. I mean, let me tell you, $250,000 is not going to be that hard to attain. I mean, everything's going up. The price of oil is going up. The price of food is going up. The price to do business is going up. The interest rates are going up. Everything is going up. So by default, employers, to gain more productivity from their employees, are going to have to come out the pocket, and they're going to have to pay their employees more. And as a result, it's just going to feed into the inflation. So at some point here in the next 2 years, when, $250,000 then, at that point in the future, is going to be the equivalent of like $80,000 today, it ain't going to get you. That ain't rich, man. You know what I mean? That ain't rich. And I think that this is just a disgusting disgrace that we are contemplating upping taxes when we are in the midst of we're in the midst of going default. I mean, our government can't even come up with an agreement on whether or not we should raise the debt ceiling, on whether or not we should cut, whether or not we shouldn't cut, whether or not we should even have a budget for 2011. I mean, it's disgraceful. Anyway, I want to hear from you. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. Let's take some calls here. Area code 404, you're on the air.
Ghost, how's it going, man? It's Billy D.
Hey, what's going on, Billy D? How you doing, man?
Doing all right. It's a little depressing hearing some of this go on. I was sitting here today, and it's funny you're kind of bringing the whole Medicare, Medicaid, because in the one local newspaper down here, they were talking kind of about the same thing, saying how basically my generation, I'm in in my later 20s, but how that and the younger than me, especially, are used to the fact now that, you know, the safety nets that, such as Medicare and Social Security, are not going to be there, and they're just accepting it. And it's just kind of, you know, the thing that's frustrating, the thing that kind of hit me is that, you know, I've been paying into this, and not only me, but everyone's been paying into this system, and it's been told to us even when you get your Social Security statements that, you know, it's estimated that this will go broke within whatever date. But, I mean, it's just, you know, it just kind of hits home that, you know, we've been sold out. I mean, we've absolutely been sold out.
And I've been trying to amplify that fact for a long period of time on this program to the youth of America, even as a conservative when I was doing this some years ago as True Conservative Radio. I've been saying that for a long time, that the youth is being bamboozled. And right now, anything that's going to be proposed by our bureaucrats to supposedly remedy Medicaid or remedy Social Security is going to, you better well, damn well sure, they're going to take care of these baby boomers for as long as they can vote. And meanwhile, what you're going to be doing is going to continue to pay the Social Security tax, continue to pay this Medicaid so that you can support these people. Meanwhile, you're not going to see one red cent of this. So my argument, and it should be the youth's argument also, and this means anybody under the age of 45, in my opinion, but it should be anybody under the age of 45's argument that if we had to pay, and now the thing's insolvent. I mean, the Social Security is insolvent, not because of any other reason other than our government, which is the government they elected because they were in charge. They were the elder generation. They were the ones that elected these bureaucrats. They were the ones that enabled all these entitlements. They were the ones that approved all this. Remember, this was a government made for the people and by the people. Well, now those obligations that were used as, or basically the Social Security was used as collateral for other entitlements, well, now that's all spent. So in my personal opinion, and it should be the argument of every young person that's under the age of 45, that these seniors, and I hate to sound like a heartless bastard, but it's time for them to bite the bullet. Yep. I mean, they created this mess. They created all this nonsense, and now that they have left, you know, young people like you with no economic opportunity, they forced y'all to go to college and, you know, put y'all in debts, you know, $40,000, $80,000 before you even enter into the employment sector, before you even enter into the employment market. And then when you come out here to the employment market, you're met with nothing but service industry-oriented jobs, no type of jobs with any kind of true growth or any type of true potential that will give you the true riches that they had when they were fat cats in the 80s. You know, I mean, everybody was rich in the 80s. Remember that? Oh, yeah. And they were the ones that capitalized on it, man. And now they want you to support them in their old prostate-infected part of their lives. And I think it's unfair. Look, I'm an older person myself, and I think it's wrong that, you know, we're forcing every young person to pay for Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare when they're never going to see it in their lives. And the thing is they're paying it out of the beans that they're able to get in this economy. Because believe me, the economy, what it's paying the average worker is just complete beans, in my opinion. But go ahead.
I mean, the thing that's scary, Ghost, is that in the field I'm in, I deal in some of the benefits and stuff, and you'll hear we'll have some people come in that actually manage 401k plans, and they're discussing, you know, you'll hear what number's right for people to save or what number's right for individuals to save to retire comfortably and everything, and you'll hear, I mean, that number continues to go higher. That percentage you need to save continues to go higher year after year. I mean, last time I was talking with them, they were saying, you know, just to live comfortably. Their thought is it's more around 15%, and if you strip out Social Security and things like that, it's going even higher, and that's planning on working till you're 67, 68. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous.
It is getting ridiculous, and you know, I think that it's starting to become I mean, I'm not trying to be an Alex Jones conspiracy theorist asshole here, but I think that all these baby boomers are colluding in this idea of selling their children out so that they can continue to live this life that they've been. Remember, the whole idea of being a baby boomer, the motto should be, and I think George Carlin said this, is give me it, it's mine. You know, that's the idea of a baby boomer, just a bunch of spoon-fed, entitlement-ridden, flower child, mud pit orgy in 1969 during the Woodstock type of garbage. And now that they're in power, they're utilizing their prowess of bureaucracy to manipulate the entire masses, specifically the young people, into enslaving themselves so that they can go out and continue to live their life on the dime of this so-called Social Security entitlement fund. And you know, the debate is, and if you tell a baby boomer something like, hey, maybe it's time for you to start fending for yourself like we're going to have to fend for ourselves. They'll tell you, well, I put into that system. That's not fair. I put into that system all my life, and I deserve that money. No, you don't.
Nope.
You elected a government that put these ridiculous entitlements that everybody's used to now. They've already pre-obligated all that Social Security fund for other projects and other entitlements, and now we're insolvent. So now we have to cut, and I think that the seniors should literally bite the bullet on this one because they caused this. It's their fault. These were their governments. These were their elections back in the day. These were their political actions that allowed this government to go out of control, and now the youth is getting bamboozled. And to my point of the baby boomers in collusion is the fact that I think that it's sad that the baby boomers are kind of embracing corrupting the children and corrupting the youth into believing that life is nothing more than a beer bong and life is nothing more than a Girls Gone Wild scene. And, you know, these ideas of focusing your entire energies and your entire life on these fictitious ideas that are being represented in the entertainment field. These images that are being projected to us on the TV, on the computer. I honestly believe that the reason that parents and baby boomers have no problem with this is because they want y'all to be stupid. This is why, I mean, they're in control of the education system, man. They're in control. I mean, they're the ones that write the tests. They're the ones that, run the school boards. They're the ones that are the principals. They're the ones that are the long-term, the lifetime tenured teachers. These are the people that are taking advantage of this system. These are the people that have been taking advantage of this system because they set it up. And what I'm saying to you and every young person is that it's time for you to start standing up and realizing that if you don't start representing yourself in some kind of a fashion, then you are going to be, in a precarious situation unless you're some kind of a financial wizard that understands how to parlay each and every red cent that you make into something that'll make you even more money. Because in my personal opinion, you have to work 20,000 times harder in this generation than your ma and your dad did back in the baby boomer generation. Because let me tell you, in the baby boomer generation, you could drop out of school and be a complete and utter beer-guzzling, three-tooth, stumbling over your own tongue, having sentence fragment, impoverished loser, and actually get yourself some kind of a job somewhere and support a family of 5 in middle-class America. You can't do that anymore in this country. And as a matter of fact, I'm sure young men like yourself are finding it hard just to support themselves in this country because of all the high taxation, being a single man. And if you don't have any children, that's even more high taxation. If you have children, oh, Jesus Christ, you're on the child support lottery system. I mean, there's just so many things that are against young males, young women, young people in general. I think it's time for them to rise up, and I've been saying that for years, man.
Yeah, Ghost, I'll tell you the one thing that I mean, there's no way. I mean, first of all, thinking about even having a kid, and there'd be no way I would even think of, first of all, even having a kid and putting them in this mess that we're in, and to have him have to suffer or have her have to suffer for the 18 to, whatever, not even 18 years, 70, 80 years of their life having to deal with this shit and then having to deal with complaints and all these old bastards and then trying to have to pay for this. I can't see that, but...
not to mention that if you're a good parent, let's say you're a good parent, Billy, and you have a child and you're the best parent you can be. This world right now, especially the United States, is so corrupt socially. I mean, I'm going to talk about it later. We've got Abercrombie Fitch putting out thong bikinis for 7-year-olds with sayings like "wink, wink" on them. You've got J. Crew, which is another little child apparel little outfit. I don't know what the hell that is, but J. Crew today put out a little advertisement flyer and put a boy with pink nail polish, as one of their models. And this is like a 5-year-old boy with pink nail polish. I mean, these are the type of, corrupt messages that we're sending our children at such young ages. And in my opinion, I think that it's being done on purpose by these assholes that are baby boomers so that they can manipulate these kids. What's up?
I was going to say, and girls want to know half the time when some of these guys go out and they're, you hear it on some of these stupid shows. They're like, well, I want a real man. I'm tired of dating these guys that are wishy-washy or don't want to make any decisions. Well, you fucking turned them that way. You act like you want to have these sensitive bastards, but then all of a sudden, when it comes down to it, you don't want some guy that's going to sit there and be crying every night when you're having sex with him because it's emotional. You want some guy that's going to take control, damn it.
And what's really unfortunate is that the whole feminist notion has, kind of curbed the idea of taking control. You see, some idiots now, they don't know how to be a man anymore, and they think that taking control is being like, an abusive asshole. And that's not what it is. Taking control is, hey, you're going to make the decisions, if something, screws up, you're going to fix it. If the pipe bursts in a house, you're going to fix it. If the car breaks down, you're going to fix it. If the rent needs to be paid, you're going to fix it. That's what men used to be. They used to have integrity. They used to be workers. They used to take care of their children, their families. And you're absolutely right that the reason that they don't do this anymore is because, in my opinion, and people can call me sexist or whatever the case might be, the idea of woman liberation, the feminist movement has equated woman liberation with going out and becoming a cougar and having like 5 or 6 different divorces, like it's no big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Equating woman liberation with having 5 or 6 kids, being single, they're putting Octomom on a pedestal. This is a woman that artificially inseminated with 16 kids, 14 kids, and she doesn't have a place to stay. She still lives with her mother. She's got outstanding student loans, and yet she's put on a pedestal for woman liberation because look at her, she doesn't need a man. I mean, it's horrible, man. It's just disgusting. And women, in my opinion, the women that are getting screwed in this whole feminist movement, because there is a feminist movement going on. I mean, and what they're doing is they are utilizing sex as a weapon. That's what the feminists are doing now. And what it jeopardizes women that aren't blessed with these good looks, that are big boned naturally because of genetics or whatever the case might be. The bigger chicks, the ugly chicks. These are the chicks that are getting afflicted and being overlooked because all a woman has to do to get ahead in life, and let's be honest, is just look good. I mean, Sarah Palin, that's all I got to say, Sarah freaking Palin.
Put a little glitter on her tits and she's good to go.
Yeah, and she doesn't have to know what she's talking about. She doesn't have to know what she's doing. And all she has to know is, all she has to do is say, all of them. These subjective ideas, these subjective responses that anyone can interpret any way. It's disgraceful, and she takes advantage. And not only she, but every woman takes advantage of the fact that they know they won't be called out because everybody that looks at them wants to get in their pants or wants to be around them or wants to, treat them with kid gloves. It's a disgrace. And I think that, bigger chicks, ugly chicks, and I don't mean when I say ugly chicks, I'm talking about the females that aren't the typical Hollywood-induced image of what a female should be.
Right.
These are the women that are getting overlooked. These are women with true talent, they probably had to work harder. They probably had to withstand, social outcasting. They had to they had to deal with a lot more subject matter. So they should be stronger. I mean, they should be more of a focal point on building our economy. But instead, I don't know about you, but I've been seeing a lot more, big-titted bimbos as the managers of retail outlets. I've been seeing a lot of big-titted, big-bootied bimbos, in managerial positions, in every aspect. And let me tell you, I know it's not because they're, confident and educated. It's because they're showing cleavage, they're exposing their shoulders, and they're wearing the short skirts, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah, I've seen it myself. I mean, I can't fault you on that one. You're right on the money on a lot of that stuff. There's always exceptions to the rule, obviously, but no, I've noticed that a lot. I feel that now, that's one of the qualifications to get a job is to be able to show what you got, I guess, for lack of a better word. But
and what's really funny about it is that when these women wear these short skirts and thongs exposing and all these provocative materials. When you sit there and you tell them what they are, like, hey, you're looking like a good whore, or you tell them something of that nature. All of a sudden, he's sexually harassing me. It's not fair. When they attract all this attention and they got men salivating like primitive dogs, looking at a bitch in heat. I mean, it's no coincidence that these women are getting ahead based upon, teasing men in power with their sexuality. And women should be more concerned about this than men. But unfortunately, a lot of women are taken back by the whole woman feminist movement and actually feel that, women like Sarah Palin, women like bimbos that just show off cleavage and ass and get ahead in life. They actually believe that somehow at least there's a woman there. That's how they rationalize. At least there's a woman there. Even though she's a ditzy, dumb, ignorant bimbo, at least there's a woman there. And let me tell you, the women need to break out of that mentality because they're not going to go anywhere, in my opinion.
You go, girl. So, Ghost, I appreciate it, man.
No problem, man. I love when you call in, man, and I want to thank you for calling in and listening once again, man.
Absolutely. I'll catch you in the chat room, man.
All right, man. You take it easy. That's Billy D. Williams, folks, an avid listener, an avid caller. I want to thank him for calling in. Let's take another caller here, shall we? Area code 219. You're on the air.
Hey, Ghost. How you doing, man?
How's it going, man?
I kind of agree with the last caller that you had. We're all of us, women, men, depending where you live, we're all selling ourselves short, are we not?
I think we are selling ourselves short, but, what we need to understand is that we have to be fully conscious of what's going on around us, and a lot of people are on cruise control right now, and they're being suggested ideas via the media, via the social outlets or the social landscape of America. And this is why, in my opinion, you're seeing such, corruption in the social landscape. This is why, 50% of marriages or over 50% of marriages are in divorce. This is why you're starting to see a high rate, in my personal opinion, of homosexuality and lesbianism. Because, in my view, the modern-day relationship has been corrupted by the media, and not that I have anything against homosexuality or lesbians. I mean, as a matter of fact, a lot of these people pay a lot of taxes. A lot of these people, are individuals that are capitalists. They like spending money. They're actually a big contributing factor to the economy. But at the same time, we cannot make an excuse for one sexual persuasion as an excuse to promote sexual perversion, and that goes with straight heterosexual public sexual liaisons too. I mean, I think that all this overt sexual society that we have turned ourselves into, combine that with the amplification of violence, I think that this is why we're seeing such a sick, corrupt society. And in my personal opinion, I don't mean to get back on this subject matter, but I think that the individuals that were the owners of the previous generation, the flower child hippie generation, they're the ones that are purposely corrupting these young people so that they can rob them blind, and by the time that they're dead and in the ground, these kids are going to have to deal, and not just kids, but anybody who's under the age of 45, in my opinion, they're going to have to deal with the repercussions of all the fiscal irresponsibility that was conducted during these times.
And I'm fully aware of that. I mean, if you look at political policy, we can see what's coming. I mean, if you look at QE1 and QE2, 3 and 4 is coming. You know the ramifications for 1 and 2. I'm fully aware of that. What really disperses me from the rest of the population is the fact that nobody's taking personal responsibility. I have 2 children. Their job, go to school, get your good grades. I get all that. And when they come home, they know the truth too. But we're not taking any responsibility as parents, as investors, as entrepreneurs. And nobody's taking responsibility for anything. We live in a society that if things go wrong, we can point the finger at somebody else. And I think that's what's tearing apart our families. In any culture. Any culture.
Absolutely. No, I was just going to say, absolutely. I agree with you. I've been saying that for a long period of time, that an element of a free society is being politically, economically, and socially responsible. But unfortunately, we've thrown all that out the window. And this, in my personal opinion, I hate to, say this, and this just goes to show you that the general mass populace doesn't deserve the right to be politically active. In my personal view, and I've said this time and time again, I think that the exclusive group of individuals that should participate in the political process are those that actually fund the system itself. And I'm talking about taxpayers, capitalists, entrepreneurs, individuals that actually will have an interest in making sure that these autocrats, these power-hungry bastards in Washington, won't continue to be fiscally irresponsible with our tax dollars. But because let's be honest, the general masses are a bunch of morons. That's why they're not taking political responsibility. They're not taking social responsibility. On the contrary, they're having kids just so they can get on reality TV shows. Right. They're having children. They've trivialized life. I mean, we've got a lot of corrupt children out here that they're not corrupt because of any other reason other than the fact that we have had people trivialize the idea of creating life. And in my personal opinion, we have to take some drastic measures. This is why I do this broadcast. This is why I'm trying to, relay ideas and thoughts across the internet in hopes of sparking synapses in people's brains and understanding that, look, us as capitalists, we have to differentiate ourselves from the general masses. Because if we don't, in my personal opinion, the masses are the biggest threat to freedom in the world today. And I'm going to continue to say that because the masses in chaotic form is only justification for powers to assert totalitarian rule. And we're on that way, and that's all there is to it. And it really makes me sick that no one cares. Go ahead.
Would that not also equalize ignorance?
What's that?
Would that not also basically be the foundation of ignorance?
Well, yeah, I was just talking about that in yesterday's program. I mean, we have to conquer ignorance, but it's an easier set objective than it is done. I mean, we have a lot of primitive thinking people, and what I mean by primitive thinking people, I'm not just discussing individuals that don't know how to read and write, or that don't know how to add or subtract. I'm talking about individuals who actually believe that Jesus, wants them to die, fighting against Mohammed, or Mohammed wants them to die because, they want them to kill, the infidels, or, this political romanticism of communism forces me to go out and put my life on the line. I mean, it's just all these dumbass political romantic ideas political, institutionalist, theocratic ideas, nationalists, culturalists, all these type of primitive-minded ideas, which are rampant amongst the masses, cannot be shaken by civil society. I mean, it can be shaken by those of us that participate in the global economic model of civility. But, the general American masses and the general masses of the world seem to me, and I'm sure it seems to anybody else with any kind of, idea or common sense, that it doesn't seem to me that the general masses of the world can be civil. And nor do I think that the general masses of the world can be educated. They're going to continue to cling on to these old primitive ideas. And in my personal view, I can see, totalitarianism on a global scale happening. And the only reason that it's going to happen is because of the ignorance of the people of the world. Now, whose fault is that?
Well, I want to express something to you, Ghost, and I really like your input on my, not so much a theory as it is, just an opinion. I look at our military-industrial complex. I look at our prison system. Anybody in the know knows it's all a scam. It's all corporate. It's a corporation. We get that. Well, I start looking around at other countries, and I know that the average American individual feels that, China, I would never go there because, they're communists. And then I start looking at per capita of our prison population and the fact that they're privately owned, and I think to myself, you know what? Why is my brain telling me that it seems I'm much more free in China than I am here? Even though it's communist, but I'm more free there per capita than I am here. And so I think that if it doesn't rail something in everybody, that we wake up and go, wait a minute, really? We can't stand China. They're communists. But yet they have less people in prison. Their prison is state-owned as well. Government-owned as well. But we have private corporations, meaning for-profit businesses, putting our population in prison, taking tax dollars from the government for profit. Wait a minute. Isn't there something wrong here? And nobody looks at it. We don't even look firsthand at anything that goes on in our lives. And when we sit back at night and go, man, I'm burned out, I'm stressed, I just can't do this anymore. Something's wrong here. What do we do about it? We get up tomorrow morning and we go live it again. We don't do anything about it. We don't question anybody. We question ourselves, but we do nothing about it.
Yeah, well, I can agree with you, but, once again, the reason we do nothing about it is because, nobody really understands. They listen to a bunch of talking heads in the mainstream media. They listen to a bunch of nimrods on the internet that, are basically one-sided, and it's basically my team against your team. That's why I'm advocating that not everybody should be politically active anymore. I think that we should have serious term limits on every bureaucratic institution that is overpowering the general public. And I know that, there can be criticism, and I have criticized the whole prison system myself, but we also have to remind ourselves that it's the police, the individuals that are abusing their bureaucratic power, that are creating this epidemic of bigger jails, this epidemic of more people into the system. It's the police that are doing this, and I've been one who has been an advocate against the police because I think that the police have just completely gone berserk. They've taken their power and have abused it. They are not serving and protecting the public. They're tax collecting on the public. That's why you'll see a cop behind a bush in the middle of 3 in the morning, ready to write you a ticket for a stop sign in some damn residential neighborhood somewhere, as opposed to being there in the middle of a robbery, in the middle of a shooting, in the middle of a murder, in the middle of a rape, or getting child molesters off the street, or getting the actual deviant, disgusting filth of society off our streets. They're not concerned with that. No, they're concerned with writing you a ticket or giving you a citation or taking you in for warrants, that sort of thing. So I completely agree with you that, we do have a for-profit system in the prison systems, but that has nothing to do with how they get there. How they get there is through this.
Let me ask you a question, Ghost. I don't mean to cut you off, sir.
Go ahead.
What I'd like to express to you and other people, and with due diligence, you will obviously find the same result that I have. What we don't realize, the U.S., if you look in, and this is not some crap I'm speaking from other people. I was the one 3 years ago speaking this, and everybody called me crazy. If you look into the U.S. code, it basically says, I'm not going to get it all into everything, but the United States, the U.S., not U.S. of A., U.S., is a private corporation, a federal corporation, therefore a for-profit business. We take our orders from a business. And once you understand that, and then not only rectify the things that you've done in your life and go, wait a minute, I really didn't.
Well, you're not necessarily giving me any new information, man. I mean, we all know that this United States is a corporation. I mean, that's why we have a president. That's why we have a vice president.
Right.
That's why you have these executive-like, statures in the bureaucratic system of government. But we also have to remember that, the taxpayers are the ones that are the investors in this corporation, the capitalists. And unfortunately, at this point in time, the capitalists have lost their idealism. They don't understand the system, how it's going, how it's meant to be, how they can capitalize. I mean, people have lost this. And, I know that, people will criticize and say, well, nobody knew. I mean, I don't know how much they could have, given you the opportunity to learn all these things. I mean, they give you a half-ass education, and let's be honest, education sucks. But let's say you drop out of school. I mean, there's publicly funded libraries on every damn corner of every metropolis all over the damn country. You could easily go in there and find books that you'll never find on the internet. I mean, controversial books. I mean, books that are just, historical, and you'd be able to learn all this type of information. The bottom line is that this is why me, as a capitalist, I'm advocating for all capitalist taxpayers, people that aren't taking any kind of money from this government. We need to come together and assert our authority. We're the ones that bankroll this whole damn operation here. We're the ones that paid the debts that we allowed these dumbass government officials to obligate ourselves. I know exactly how this government is funded. As a matter of fact, I talked about it, 3 or 4 weeks ago. How a government obtains money is they sell bonds on the world market. Foreign investors come in, they buy the bonds up, so that and that's not just the U.S., any country that's participating in the global economic model, any country can sell bonds to foreign investors. Now, the problem is that a lot of these corporations or countries are running the damn whole country down the tubes, I mean, they're running the whole damn country down the tube. So inevitably, what we're doing here is we're allowing an executive like the president. We're allowing the board like the Congress and the Senate. We're allowing these people to obligate us for such nonsense. We're allowing these idiots to, obligate us to such, ridiculous debts that lo and behold, we have to sit here and pay for it for 2, 3, 4, 5 generations. So, look, I understand that, hey, people are going to make the argument that, hey, the American government, it's a corporation, and this is why we're doing this, this is why we're doing that. So what? That doesn't mean that you can't prosper. That doesn't mean that you can't be fiscally responsible. That doesn't mean you can't be a capitalist. I mean, don't get me wrong. I disagree with what's going on politically. I think it sucks that, we're going into some kind of totalitarian police state. But once again, I mean, like the Constitution says, this is a government made for the people and by the people. When the people fall asleep at the wheel and they're more concerned about going out and voting for American Idol or the Dancing with the Stars as opposed to actually being politically responsible, well, this is the consequence that you get. This is the type of political system that you get when you got a whole bunch of nimrods for, a mass populace. And this is why I am going to continue to advocate, and I think everybody that's within the sound of my voice should advocate that true capitalists throughout the world should be the exclusive voting party in any political processes. And the reason I say that is because it is the capitalist that funds these governments. It's the capitalists that funds these little people that are supposed to be bureaucrats in this Washington government, in any government throughout the world. And that's why I'm saying, we got to draw a line here. If you want to continue to be part of the masses, you want to continue to be part of the breadline, you want to continue to be part of these assholes that are collecting off the government dole, well then you, my friend, are property of the American government. You are property of the American taxpayer, and you better hope that there doesn't come a day where the American taxpayer finally starts taking it out of the asses of people that have been mooching off of the system generation after generation. And that doesn't just include people. Once the capitalists take over, once the capitalists take power, we should also punish these damn corporations that have been literally recapitalized by our tax dollars because of their bad investments. These are the types of things that we have to do. I'm offering solutions here. I know that you got all these Alex Jones assholes and David Icke and reptilians and New World Order and all this crap. You got all these people promoting this crap, and what are they offering as a solution? Nothing. They're offering nothing. They're offering chaos. They're offering disorder. It just makes me sick to my stomach whenever I hear these dumb assholes tell half-truths. Like Alex Jones, David Icke, all the big, stupid imbeciles that are a part of the alternative media movement. 9/11 was an inside job, and then the Fed, and Bohemian Grove, and all that crap, all of it. It just makes me sick. And what makes me sick to my stomach is that, instead of actually promoting this type of material, this conspiracy theorist material, and accompanying it with a solution, you're not going to hear that. There is no solution, when you listen to the dumbass Alex Jones. There is no solution when you listen to these dumbass alternative media assholes. You know what they are? They're a bunch of cult of personality jerk-offs that didn't have a real life in their own social pipeline, so they want to make themselves look like, yeah, look at me, I'm for the people. It makes me sick to my stomach. Haven't you noticed that every one of these assholes in the alternative media movement, shows their face in every one of their documentaries, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, like Jason Burmas. That stupid, dumb asshole. The documentary he made, we had to see stupid pictures of him when he was a dumb, fat little kid. You know what I mean? Give me a break with this crap. And what kind of solution are they offering? Nothing. Nothing. What is Ghost offering? What is Ghost suggesting to the people that are listening in and that feel the totalitarianism reigning in, that feel the impending globalization that's happening right before our very eyes? What do? You become a capitalist, and you realize that you understand the game. You understand the global economic model, and you're not going to just sit back complaining, bitching, moaning. You're not going to sit back saying, man, it ain't fair, and it's not fair. Life isn't fair. Life isn't fair. Don't you understand that? Life isn't fair. Why don't you ask all the animals out there in the wilderness that are killed every day for food and tell them, hey, do you think life's fair? Huh? Why don't you ask the cow that was the origin of your goddamn cheeseburger and interview that poor animal and say, is life fair? Life isn't fair, man, all right? Every organism on this planet has to kill and eat another organism to sustain itself, to survive. And we're supposed to believe that we're supposed to hold hands and sing Kumbaya and feed every human being as if it's God's special creature? You know? I mean, give me a break. It's disgusting. It's ridiculous. It goes against the nature of God itself. I mean, if you want to interpret nature as God or nature as a code of God, all right? God is telling us via nature, as beautiful as it is to our eyesight, as beautiful as trees are in the wilderness, as beautiful as some of these animals and intricate living species are, every one of these animals, every one of these living organisms has to kill something else to survive. So, with that diatribe, I'd like to thank 219 for calling. As a matter of fact, what do you have to say after that, 219? What do you got to say, man?
I agree with what you're saying. If we hear, I'm kind of new to this. I've only been into the whole thing in-depthly about 5 years. So, there's great people before me that have kind of laid this out for me. So it's not all my knowledge. But, we can only, I remember the old adage about that, I can only deal with what the hand I've been dealt. Well, that's very much true, but you're missing another side of it is, yes, that's the hand you've been dealt, but it's your wisdom that gives you the ability to play the hand. And most people don't have the wisdom anymore. We don't have the grandparents around anymore. We're lacking as a society a multitude of things. And once we know the truth, what I was leading up to is not that I'm smart. It's one of those, okay, we all get it. We're screwed. Now what do we do about it? And
I'm not saying I wasn't making any assumption. What I was saying is that I've read all this stuff. I know all the theories and the conspiracy theories. I've watched all the films and stuff. It's utter malarkey. And I'll agree with you though that this is a corporation. That's why we have a president. That's why if you want to start a city, believe it or not, if you're rich enough to start your own city, you have to incorporate your city.
Yes.
So this is not something that's hidden here. What is unfortunate is that we've allowed, as the American system, we've allowed the general American masses to participate in the political process.
Yes.
And if you want my personal opinion, it is that reason why our country has been flushed down the proverbial toilet. And I think that the only people, the exclusive party that should be participating in this political process and any political process throughout the world are those that pay taxes. I mean, those that are working. And look, I know that you're talking about, hey, not everybody's smart, not everybody knows everything, not everybody knows this, but you don't have to know much to go get a job. You don't have to know much to go out and save some money. You don't have to know much to sustain yourself and to survive. And look, people say, oh, it's not fair. I have to dig ditches. Oh, it's no fair. I got to clean toilet bowls. Well, if it's either that or we go back to the jungle and we all have to fend for ourselves and hunt our own food, make our own clothing, make our own housing, all the primitive stuff, all the things that we take for granted are no longer around, and we go back to that. And let me tell you, I don't want to go back to that, and I'm sure capitalists don't want to go back to that. But it seems to me that the general masses of the world want to go back to that chaotic jungle idea. They want to go back to, civil unrest and disorder. And that's not something that I'm about. We are in the new age. We are in a new idea, a new world of modernity. We don't need these old primitive ideas of feudalism. We don't need these old primitive ideas of a religious theocracy. It's these things that are keeping the world primitive. And in my personal view, I think that at some point we are just going to have to deal with the primitive in a different manner than those of us in civility.
Well, let me explain something quite quickly. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I really do appreciate you having me on. I understand where you're coming from, and I do agree with you. Technology is a good thing. But here's my point of view. If technology does fail, I still have the ability to take care of myself, which leads into personal responsibility. I I won't sacrifice my own personal knowledge of how to take care of myself. And I think what's happened in society, we have taken on technology 100% and forgot how to take care of ourselves. And that is very clear in our own political policies.
Well, I can agree with you on that, but in my personal opinion, I think that the reason society's gotten so dependent on technology is because they're a bunch of dumb oafs anyway, man. Anyway, I want to thank you for calling in, man. I appreciate your insight. I want to get on with the other things that we have to talk about here. We were talking a little bit prior to the past couple of calls, Obama outlining his deficit reduction plan, and then we got sidetracked by a couple of calls. I want to move on to a couple of other subject matters and then take some more calls. The United States Internet ad revenue hits an all-time record for 2010. You know what that means, right? That means that the Internet, looks like a lucrative investment when it comes to anybody wanting to potentially, get some money in some other fashion. I mean, the Internet is growing. In 2010, it hit a record $26 billion in advertising revenue. $26 billion in advertising revenue for the Internet, for Christ's sake. So there's some major business going on the Internet. The Internet is serious business. And, whenever there's business going on, whenever there's money, we want to talk about it here on the True Capitalist radio broadcast, and that's why I'm talking about it, Anyway, a PricewaterhouseCoopers report commissioned by Interactive Advertising Bureau found that last year's ad revenue grew 15% from 2009. I mean, that's a pretty big increase. I mean, that's not peanuts there. So that's why I'm advocating anybody who's listening within the sound of my voice, start a blog, conduct internet e-commerce, try to look into the Internet. As a matter of fact, do what you have to do to try to capitalize as much as you can on this 15% annual increase on Internet ad revenue, for Christ's sake. I mean, this is serious business. I'm not joking, man. I mean, good God. I mean, $26 billion or $26 billion in ad revenue for the Internet for 2010. That's why I'm advocating everybody out there listening within the sound of my voice. I have started a small, modest social networking site, and I would like for everybody that's a true capitalist to please join. It's www.capitalistarmy.com. That's www.capitalistarmy.com. It is the first social networking site exclusively for capitalists. And we've got videos, we got the ability to put profiles, we got an ability for you to sell your own items on your profile. Although nobody's taking advantage of that, but, if you've got eBay type stuff, or if you've got something that is sought after, an old cell phone or an old iPad, an old iPhone, whatever the case might be, sell it on the Capitalist Army website. All right? There it is right there, folks. There it is on the screen, www.capitalistarmy.com. I mean, just take advantage, man. Take advantage. I mean, and not to mention we got chat rooms, we got forum posts, we got all kinds of stuff. We're looking for capitalists out here. No kidding. All right, no kidding. And I've got all kinds of things. Anyway, let me go to another subject matter, but the only reason that I bring up the CapitalistArmy.com website is because I would like other people to communicate with each other that are across the world that are capitalists. I want people to relay ideas. I want people to make some cash. I mean, if you're somebody that doesn't know anything about the Internet, join the Capitalist Army website. Go, once you're there and you're a member, go to my store and just start putting up damn products. Put a picture, put a description, and then put a Buy It Now button on your profile, and you can sell your damn product. You can integrate PayPal. You can integrate, the Google version of PayPal with a to-go or or whatever the case might be. I mean, seriously, man. But anyway, enough of www.capitalistarmy.com. We were talking about how the ad revenue has hit a record for 2010, $26 billion. And not to mention you can blog on the capitalistarmy.com, www.capitalistarmy.com. You can blog on there as well. And I don't care if you put a banner. You know, I really don't care if you put a banner on the blog. I mean, it's the way it is. All right? I mean, you know, we're capitalists, baby. We're capitalists here, for Christ's sake. We're capitalists. So go out there and support. All right? Anyway, we get it. Let me go ahead and open up a beer here, folks. I haven't been drinking here. I've just been, sitting here hollering. Let me go ahead and drink some beer. Oh, yeah. Cheers to everybody out there. Cheers. I know it's only Wednesday, but that means it's 2 days till Friday, baby. And let me tell you something. Friday is always great down here in Austin, Texas. You go down to 6th Street, and it's just a beautiful time, man. I mean, on the weekends on 6th Street, they close down the streets, folks. I love it out here. Every weekend they close down the streets. And you can just kind of walk in the middle of the street, no big deal. The whole 6th Street is closed down. It's like a damn festival every goddamn weekend out here. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And you got a line of bars going down the whole damn street. Bars, clubs, the whole 9 yards. You got comedy clubs. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. Anyway, cheers, everybody. It is Hump Day. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here. Very nice. Anyway, let me go ahead and move on here. We were talking about how the internet ad revenue has hit a record for 2010, $26 billion, 15% increase from 2009. Now, what I do want to talk about is this fake press release. I mean, whoever did this hoax, whoever did this hack, man, they deserve major props. They deserve major kudos, whoever pulled off this General Electric press release. Anyway, early this morning, a press release was released to the Associated Press, with the letterhead of the General Electric emblem, the whole nine. It looked legit, stating that General Electric had a change of heart and they're actually going to give the billion that they dodged in paying taxes, that they actually had a change of heart and they're actually going to give the billion in taxes to the government. They're going to give it to the Treasury, and they felt bad about it. And you know what else? They even covered it this morning on Fox Business on Barney and Company, which is a good show, by the way. I mean, it's just unbelievable, unfreaking believable how we have individuals out here that are so creative, that they can actually pull off a fake press release. A fake press release, for Christ's sake. Anyway, it wasn't long when General Electric was like, hey, whoa, we ain't giving that $3-point-something billion to the Treasury. We were able to tax rebate our asses fair and square. We're not giving that up, and the Associated Press had to, take it back, and now they're eating crow. I'd like to see if Varney is going to eat crow tomorrow, because let me tell you something. It's pretty disgusting. You know what I mean? It's pretty unbelievable. And I can't believe that, the Associated Press, an organization that individuals are supposed to believe when it comes to news press releases and, covering coverage throughout the international community, actually covered this General Electric, fake General Electric press release, for Christ's sake. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, I want to hear from you. 646-652-4869 is the number to call here. Let's go ahead and take some calls here. Area code 715. You're on the air.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
So if the Internet is a series of tubes. What would you classify your radio show as?
I would, classify my radio show as an anal tube going up your mom's anal cavity.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, you like that?
Oh, I like it. You're getting me so fucking hot, Ghost. I'm going to come. Keep going.
Yeah, you sound like a little fruity bastard. Put your mom on the phone. I want to talk to that whore.
I'm a milky liquor.
No, put your mom on the phone. I know you live with your mammy. Go put her on the phone right now. Put her on.
Please define the term milky liquor, please.
Can you just put that disgusting prostitute that you call a mother that shitted you out of your uterus, why don't you put that stupid Skankosaurus bimbo on the phone? I want to talk to that disgusting skank.
Why are you so mad, though?
You silly bastard. Get this stupid idiot. Get him off! I'm going to sit over here. I mean, did you hear this kid? He couldn't even concoct something to say. He was like, if the internet were tubes, what would your show be? Why don't you put the magic pipe down there, boy? Why don't you stop puffing on the magic dragon and save the last 3 brain cells you got going on in your brain there, you milky liquor? Give me a break. Anyway, 646-652-4869 is the number to call here. We were talking about how GE was targeted by a fake press release to the Associated Press that the Associated Press actually put out as legitimate news. They actually put it out as legitimate news that General Electric had a change of heart and that General Electric was just going to go ahead and give out their tax rebate, the taxes that they were able to evade from the IRS, that they were just going to give the $3.whatever billion they were evading in taxes, they were just going to give it to the Treasury out of a change of heart. and these idiots in the Associated Press actually believed this crap. They had to print some reprisal, and every other news organization was all on that like flies to crap, baby. I mean, everyone like, oh, look at the Associated Press. They're a bunch of phonies. They're big, fat phonies. So anyway, let's move on, shall we? Anyway, the rebels in NATO, and not to mention the French and the British, they now want NATO and the United States to play a bigger role in the Libyan military theater. That's right, folks. We've got the French and the Brits telling NATO and the United States that, you got to, put some more weapons on the ground there. You got to put some boots over there on the floor right there in Libya. You know what I mean, mate? You're talking all this garbage about, liberating people. You're talking all this crap about, you don't want to see slaughters or whatever. Well, you American people, you got to go out there and, put your boots on the ground over there. You know what I mean? And you've got these damn limeys. You got the frogs. You've got the rebels. The rebels are even talking garbage, for Christ's sake. I mean, as a matter of fact, we've got a rebel on the phone, a part of the rebel faction fighting in Libya. We've actually got them on the phone to, discuss why exactly they're not happy with the situation we've got going on in the military theater in Libya. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring on Mahmoud. Are you there, Mahmoud?
Who is Allah? Who is Ar-Rahman? Who is Al-Mannan?
Yes, that is right. The Libyan Liberation Army, we are here, and we are going to take out Gaddafi, but we need more troops. We need more American people to come over here and sacrifice their life for Allah. We need more American troops to come out here and sacrifice their life for Allah. Wallah Akbar. Wallah Akbar. That's what I am telling all of you out there in America. You think that you are, you are on a limited basis when coming over here to Libya. The Libyan people are ready. We are here. We want to take over Muammar Gaddafi. We are ready. Wallah Akbar.
He is the master of all creation.
All of you out there have to bow to Allah. That's why you're in the Middle East. We need to sacrifice more United States citizens to Allah. In the name of Muhammad, Wallah Akbar. Wallah Akbar. Now, you American people don't understand what we are doing out here in Libya. But we are trying to overtake Muammar Gaddafi. And we are trying to implement our caliphate. We are trying to implement Sharia law. And we are going to use the American troops. We are going to use the American government. We are going to use Barry. Barry is there in office to continue the Islamic cause around the world. Wallah Akbar. I have nothing else to say. Wallah Akbar. Assalamu alaikum.
All right, everybody, shut him off. Shut him off. Well, there you go. That's what the Libyan, rebel front thinks of us. They think that, we need to sacrifice more troops and we need to get more involved with the military front out there because, I don't know, we got to do it for Allah or something. I don't know about all that, but, whatever reason we're out there, it's definitely not for humanitarian reasons. Anybody that tries to tell you that we're out there for humanitarian purposes is an idiot, is an absolute moron. They're probably the same people that bought the pet rock, and they don't know shit from Shinola. All right, we are not there for humanitarian reasons. If we were out there for humanitarian reasons, we would have gone into a variety of different other areas of the international community where there's absolute butchery. And we've been covering it on countless occasions on this program that there is international butchery going on across the world out here, and yet this pathetic government, this despicable, disgusting American government has the audacity to sit here and look at us capitalists and say, we're doing it because we don't want to see a slaughter in Libya. Just give me a break. And once again, who is picking up the tab for all this? Who's paying for all this? American taxpayers are paying for this. American taxpayers are paying for Iraq. American taxpayers are paying for Afghanistan. And you know what really disgusts me, and I hate to keep reiterating this, but it bears repeating, it should be repeated over and over and over again, that this government of ours that represents us, they should be forcing this Iraqi parliament that we put into power, that we liberated from Saddam Hussein, we should be forcing these people to give us oil pro bono. All right, we'll knock it off their tab because remember, we almost got $2 trillion invested in this war. We'll knock it off their tab, and we artificially bring down the cost of oil to about $50 or $60 for Christ's sake. I mean, do you understand how much wonders that would do for our economy at this point in time? But do we have any geniuses in Washington thinking about these types of things? No. You want to know why? Because they're bureaucrats. You understand? Bureaucrats don't give two rats' asses about anything but their own campaign contribution accounts and their own bureaucratic position of power. You know it and I know it. So once again, we've got the Libyan rebels pissed off, and not to mention that the Libyan rebels are pissed off, but, you've got France and Britain pissed that NATO isn't doing enough and the United States isn't doing enough in this military theater in Libya. Unreal. You see, ungrateful, man. It's just ungrateful. We didn't have to do anything, for Christ's sake. But you see how ungrateful people are? It just, Jesus Christ. Makes me sick to my stomach. Anyway, I want to hear from you. 646-652-4869. is the number to call here. Let's go ahead and take some calls. Lauren, are you there?
Yeah, how you doing, Ghost?
Hey, what's going on? bastard. I hope you get injected with cancer of the prick. Stupid, dumb, useless moron. You were on hold for 30 minutes to do that. I mean, you see what I'm saying? I mean, these are wastes of human life that are being protected by laws and, these just regulations and rules that are saving entirely too many lives in this country. Seatbelt laws, helmet laws, laws against, the safety law. I mean, we just need to get rid of all of them because we just need to let nature take its course. I mean, let social Darwinism inflict itself upon individuals like this that are completely waste of human flesh, that do nothing all day but just sit on their fat asses and collect a check from the government and wait for their government cheese and go to the nearest bread line. I mean, these people are just a disgrace, and, the more and more we continue to feed these people, the more and more they breed. What's that old saying? Oh, son, don't feed the stray animals, son, because they breed. They breed. You don't want to feed the stray animals, boy. Well, that just goes to show you that's just the way it is right there. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. We were talking a little bit about how the Libyan rebels, the French, the Brits, they're a little critical of NATO and the United States' role in this Libya military theater. And they actually want us to do more. They want us to do more when it comes to this Libyan military theater. Unbelievable. I mean, these ungrateful pricks, they want more, and yet, what are we getting in return exactly? I mean, these Libyan rebels aren't even giving us the oil from the oil field that they captured, for Christ's sake. They did a deal with Qatar. They're doing deals with Qatar, for Christ's sake, when they should be giving the oil to us. They should be giving the oil to America. They should be giving the oil to us. We're the ones bombing out there. We're the ones putting our reputations on the line. We're the ones throwing fuel on the fire by going into another Middle Eastern country. We're the ones that deserve that crap. Why exactly are these disgusting, despicable rebels doing oil deals with Qatar when we're the ones protecting their sorry asses? Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. But welcome to America, where, the American people are more worried about, oh my God, Pia Toscano, she got voted off of American Idol. It's a fraud. It's a fraud. Ah, Jesus Christ. So what? Some stupid, pre-teenage bimbo gets voted off of American Idol. You sick, twisted perverts. I mean, give me a break. Anyway, let's move on to another subject matter. We were talking about how NATO and the United States are being criticized by the Libyan rebels and the French and the British for not doing enough in this military theater of combat in Libya. So I just think it's disgusting. But I'll tell you what the United States is doing. The United States is bombing the hell out of Pakistan, which is another war front that we're in that we don't necessarily talk about because we're not in the conventional war sense. But we have drones, we've got flights that go over Pakistan in the Waziristan area all the time. Anyway, reports out of Pakistan, the United States in an air attack killed 6. And hopefully, the 6 that we killed are pertinent to the whole idea of a war on terror, because it seems to me that, sooner or later, this powder keg of this Islamic uprising is going to point its ugly head at the United States of America as being some kind of crusader, as being some kind of who the hell knows? These people are nuts. These people are insane, for Christ's sake. You saw what they did in Egypt. I mean, these primitive people in Egypt were able to be manipulated by a Google executive named Wael Ghanem, utilizing technology like Facebook, like, Twitter, which, American people use to either get laid or get friends. These assholes are taking it literal when some asshole like Wael Ghanem's like, oh, you got to go out there in the middle of Tier Square, and we have to get rid of Mubarak. We have to get rid of Mubarak, and we got to do it. We got to do it now. And these idiots went out there and did it, and lo and behold, not only these idiots didn't cause a revolution, they caused a damn near post-Rodney King beating trial riot. That's what they caused. It was a damn post-Katrina wasteland out there. Do you understand? They looted houses and pillaged, people's goods. They raped women. They broke businesses. They looted. They did everything that you're not supposed to do when a legitimate political revolution happens. You don't hear this type of crap happening in revolutions. You don't hear the people saying, "Oh, yeah, we're going to break the infrastructure. We're going to throw ourselves back 30 years because, yeah, we don't like the leader." Stupidity, man. Anyway, I'm just saying, I didn't mean to get off on that tirade. Anyway, Pakistan, the United States kills 6 in Pakistan with airstrikes. And like I said, I hope that it's not innocent people so we can throw more fuel on the fire with this Islamic hysteria. And hopefully it was some assholes from, the supposed war on terror out here. Because if it's not, we can continue to see some heavy-duty crap, to say the least. Anyway, let's move on. We've been talking about all the killings and murders. All the killings and murders in Syria. Been coming out 20, 30 a day for the past 2 weeks, murders. Yesterday we reported that Syrian authorities are actually killing their own soldiers for not firing on anti-government protesters, believe it or not. Yeah, the Syrian authorities are killing their own soldiers who refuse to fire on anti-government protesters. Isn't that great, folks, huh? Oh, that's great. That isn't a humanitarian. That isn't a humanitarian effort, though. Right? Oh, that isn't a humanitarian situation. No, of course not. Well, anyway, because of the mass uprisings that have been happening in Syria, the Syrian authorities have actually tried to take a proactive approach in preventing any more of these mass uprisings and giving them bad international PR by having them mow them down like a bunch of dead dogs or something. So Assad, which is the leader of Syria, decided to have mass arrests of men that were suspected of participating in the uprising in Syria. Organizers or people that were reported to be participants, that sort of thing. And they went out and sweeped it, several hundred people into jail. Just snagging them up as if they were the Gestapo or something. Well, lo and behold, the women and children actually went out into the middle of the streets and the middle of the freeways and protested so that they can get their men out of jail. Good God, you're talking about you're talking about some down-ass protesting there. Now, look, let me tell you what's happening in Syria. They're not destroying their cities, all right? Nor are they destroying their cities in Libya either. These people aren't destroying themselves. They actually want to get rid of the authorities so that they can, see to it themselves in what direction they want their country to be in. And, what the women and children did is they stood out in the street, stopped traffic, and basically protested. There's thousands of people arrested. Well, anyway, reports come out today that the protests done by the women and the children in Syria actually worked because the Syrian authorities have actually released 100 of these prisoners that were arrested in these sweeps for anti-government protesters. They actually released 100 of these guys to pacify the women and children protesting in the streets. Because let me tell you something, from what I've read out of the reports that are coming out of Syria, I don't believe children and women have been a mass amount of the casualties, nor do I believe that they have been any of the casualties. So this was a kind of a do-or-die moment for Syria, in my personal opinion. So, they're walking a fine line of balancing public relations while trying to be totalitarians, man. And the Syrian situation is, it's a very precarious and hairy one, to say the least. You know what I'm saying? it doesn't seem that this is going away. I mean, Syria is doing whatever it can to stop these unrests and these uprisings out there by killing people. I mean, we've been reporting it. We've been reporting it for the past couple of weeks. Every day, 20 dead, 15 dead, 30 dead out of Syria. And these people don't have guns, folks. These people aren't armed, all right? These people are individuals that are going out and causing civil disobedience, just going out there and protesting. And yet they're being mowed down like a bunch of dead dogs out in the street. It's just disgusting. It's sick. It's pathetic. You know what I'm saying? And I can't believe that we can sit here as an American country and claim that, we're out in Libya for a humanitarian effort. That's what we're doing in Libya. We're doing this for a humanitarian effort because we actually care about the Al-Qaeda faction that's actually fighting against Muammar Gaddafi. Yeah. I mean, we actually care about them. Yeah. Give me a break. Oh, man. I mean, it just makes me sick, folks. It makes me sick. It makes me want to puke. It makes me want to break stuff. I mean, it makes me angry. But before I start getting off keister, before I, literally, start flying off the handle here, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to take a deep breath. And I'm going to take a break here for a second. But before I do, I know I keep reiterating the fact that the biggest threat to world security, the biggest threat to freedom in the international community is ignorant bastards. And pretty much you can encapsulate most of the masses of the world under that category. And what's really unfortunate is that you don't have to be a very smart person to have common sense, You don't have to be the most articulate. You don't have to be the most knowledgeable. You don't have to be the most educated. You don't have to be these things. But you know what you have to understand? That we're living in modernity. That we're living in civility. Do you understand? We no longer have to go out and hunt for our food. We no longer have to build our own houses. We no longer have to survive in the jungle. I mean, we have the conveniences of no other human being in history. And yet we still find the human condition continuously bitching and moaning about the little, most trivial-ass ideas and concepts. And you see, what people in general don't realize is that an element of freedom is responsibility. And if you are not going to take responsibility, somebody else is going to take that responsibility for you. And let me tell you something, we're seeing this today in this America, we're seeing it today in this world. That's why I'm calling on all capitalists throughout the international community. It is our time to come together. It is our time to assert ourselves as an authority. Because remember, these bureaucratic government systems, as much as they try to sit here and they wave their fingers in the masses' faces. As they wave their fingers into the simpletons' faces. Us as capitalists aren't fooled by what's going on here. And it's time for us to draw the line in the sand and say, hey, all you government bureaucratic institutions, you are servants to us, the capitalists. Because we're the ones that fund your little ridiculous ideas. We're the ones that pay for your ridiculous little benefits. We're the ones that fund you little bureaucratic people. And truth be told, folks, if there was no bureaucratic system of power, if there was no government, these assholes in Washington, these wastes of human life that are supposed to be our leaders, these people would be failures in society. These people would be losers. The only reason that they're up there in Washington is because they know how to put on a good smile and make people, the average simpleton, believe that they're a nice guy. You know? I'm not joking. So this is why I call on all capitalists worldwide. And I don't know how you're a capitalist. You want to get what you put in. All right? You want to be able to capitalize. You want the freedom to be able to take your labor and the money generated from that, and to be able to parlay that in any fashion possible to capitalize even more. And that's why I continue to call on all capitalists. It's time for us to rise up. It's time for us to assert our authority. It's time for us to organize. It's time for us to relay ideas. It's time for us to be artistic as it relates to capitalism. Amplify the idea of capitalism. Spread the idea of capitalism. It's time. Because if you don't, who the hell knows what the hell's going to happen? Who the hell knows? Not even these masses know what they want. Jesus Christ. Let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you something right now. I bet you money. I bet you cash money if we took any of these unhappy sour scowls that walk any supermarket that are sitting over here looking at you like, oh, my life sucks because of you, baby. You getting T-bone steaks in your basket. You getting sirloin steaks in your basket. You getting prime rib in your basket. And it ain't fair, baby. It ain't fair. You got all this and I ain't got nothing. I bet you money. I bet you damn money. If we took all these losers and gave them whatever they wanted, gave them all the money they wanted, gave them all the electronic widgets they wanted, gave them all the jewelry they wanted, if we gave these losers everything that they wanted, they'd still want more. And they'd still be unhappy, and they'd still have the sour scowl, and they'd still demand that hey, we need more. It makes me sick, and that's not the way the capitalists think, and that's why I'm calling all capitalists. It's time for you to start rising up. It's time for you to draw the line in the sand and say, hey, you bureaucrats that are out there in Washington, you are not going to sit here and wave your finger in my face. You're not going to sit here and be our authoritarian, totalitarian master. We are capitalists. We're the ones that fund you little people. We fund you little people, you piece of... We fund these people. We fund this government. The capitalists from all over the world. We fund the United Nations. We fund NATO, for Christ's sake. Piece of crap. Jesus Christ. Is there anybody listening, for Christ's sake? Is there anybody listening, for Christ's sake? Calm down. Where's the microphone at? Where's this goddamn microphone? Where's the goddamn microphone? Where's the damn microphone? I can't find this goddamn thing. Where's this crap? Where is this crap? Oh, here. Oh, Jesus Christ, folks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm going off keister there, folks, but it makes me upset. It makes me angry. It gets me full of piss and fury because I can't believe that the capitalists are out there and allowing these bureaucrats to do what they do to us. fund these little people. That's what they forget. We fund these little people. Hold on, sir. Hold on. Let me calm down. All right. I'm going to take a break here, folks, before I have a damn heart attack on the air here. Oh, my heart's pumping like a rabbit. Oh, man, I'm sorry, folks. I didn't mean to break stuff on the air. I didn't mean to get off keister here. But I'm sick and tired of the general masses out here. Just continuously being a bunch of milky-looking pieces of nipple clamp-loving, butt-plug up-the-ass-looking, mindless, wish they had a clue having, American Idol watching, looking, tickling their asses with a hot dog having, chicken-eating, corn-boy trash. I'm sick of it. All of it. I'm sick of it. And if you're hearing me and if I'm sounding a little bit irate, if I'm sounding a little bit pissed off, you're goddamn right I'm pissed off. Just take a look around you. Why don't you just go to a shopping mall? Why don't you just go to a supermarket, for Christ's sake, and count the sour scowls on people's faces? Count the amount of pusses that are looking at you with such a hater look or a disgusting scowl because you are eating steak or you are drinking soda or you're having something that they can't have. And you know what's sad, folks? What's sad is that these idiots can have it. These idiots can get it. They can become capitalists and do it. And why don't they do it? Why aren't they capitalists? Why aren't they getting up off their fat jelly asses? Why aren't they doing anything, folks? No one knows. No one knows.
You're listening to Ghost on True Capitalist Radio. True Capitalist Radio.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to, get my wind back. I'm sorry, folks. I don't mean to be coughing here. I'm a little winded here, to say the least, folks. This is the third hour. Jesus Christ, we're already in the third hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. Of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. Once again, before we left, I was getting a little off keister. I kind of just got a little raged, a little bit, to say the least, and I want to say I'm sorry y'all had to see that. But let's move on, shall we? Let me take some calls. I haven't taken some calls yet. I want to hear from you, 646-652-4869. If you're one of these ass clowns that's, flapping your fat Cheeto-stained fingers on the keyboard, talking a lot of garbage about me, why don't you get your fat cottage cheese ass off of your chair, get to the nearest phone, and give me a damn call, you milky lickers, all right? I mean, seriously, I'm sick and tired of a bunch of text chat warriors out here, thinking that they're big and badass. I mean, why don't you put a voice behind that there, you milky-licking pieces of nipple clamp-loving, butt plug up the ass-looking crap? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my heart's weak, folks. I'm sorry. Anyway, let me take some calls here. Area code 213, you're on the air.
Ghost, baby, you there?
Oh,
can you hear me, Ghost?
Christ. Yeah, we hear you.
Listen. I was listening to your show. I wanted to talk about what you were saying before the break about walking through the store and seeing sour scouts. I ain't looking at your buggy and hating because you got steak in your buggy, Ghost. Because first off, my food card will buy steak. I can get top sirloin. You know how I get down on the first, baby. It's nothing but ribs over here. So first of all, I ain't hating. I ain't envious of you, Ghost.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying to me is people that are collecting government cheese aren't hating on people like me who are buying prime rib, T-bone steaks, the good stuff. Y'all are not hating. So why exactly are you looking at me?
I ain't looking at you, baby. I don't even live in the same state as you. I don't know what you're talking about.
You people, you're all alike. You're all moochers. You're all a bunch of, people that just mooch off of the American government. You're getting paid for doing nothing. Why exactly are people in the quote-unquote hood, why are they so upset?
We ain't upset, baby. I don't know why you think we're upset, because we get our money, Ghost. You know what I'm saying? Like, you trying to act like that we can't eat steak, baby, like you better than us. You ain't better than us, Ghost. We can buy all the steak we want to, baby.
No, I beg to differ. I beg to differ, sir. I am better than you. First of all, you don't hear crying kids in the back of the background over here, for Christ's sake. Secondly, you sound like an abusive parent. I mean, it sounds like you're shaking the hell out of that kid, for Christ's sake, man. Every time you call up, that kid is crying like it's got a diaper-rashed shit diaper, and you're just failing to change it, man. I mean, what's the problem? Are you still feeding that kid rib meat or what?
No, baby, we ain't got no more rib meat left over. That shit would have been done gone bad by now, Ghost. But I just, I wanna, stress to you that we ain't hating you, Ghost, baby. Stop being paranoid, because we make ours, baby. Ghetto capitalism at its finest, baby, and you be hating on that.
You're not capitalist. You're not a capitalist. Stop thinking that in your simplistic, dumbass, chronic album listening brain. You are not a capitalist. You are a moocher. You are a person in society that is insignificant. If you died tomorrow, no one would give two rats' asses. You want to know why? Because your kids would be taken care of by the state, just like it's being taken care of by the state now. I mean, do you have no shame, for Christ's sake? Do you have no goddamn shame?
Like I said, Ghost, don't hate the player, baby. Hate the game. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at us.
Well, you know, what would happen if, you know, you didn't have government cheese? You know what I'm saying? What would happen if you didn't have these things to take advantage of? What the hell would you do?
But that's beside the point, baby, because I got them. I got them, baby.
Oh, that's beside the point because you got them, huh?
Yeah, that's the point, baby, because I got them, and there ain't nothing you do to take them away, baby. Because
Okay,
you know,
obviously we're gonna agree to disagree on this crap because you're just some waste of flesh, mooching ass, government entitlement recipient, you know, neglectful parent piece of garbage. But since you are a parent, let me ask you a question. You know, there's this viral video of this 6-year-old girl. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, there's a viral video of this 6-year-old girl actually getting patted down and getting groin checked by a member of the TSA at an airport. Now, given the fact that, you know, you're probably traveling or something, would you allow the TSA to, you know, fondle your kid in an attempt to so-called you save the country from terrorism or something? I mean, would you allow a TSA to grope your child?
No, baby, ain't nobody touching my kid, Ghost. Ain't nobody gonna touch my kid. Yeah, it's gonna be hell to pay you touch my kid.
Oh yeah. Well, what would you do if they said you're gonna have to do it or you're not gonna get on the plane?
I'd call him a racist and threaten to sue because it would probably work.
Well, I think a black person was actually doing it in this clip. So I mean, it's not necessarily racist. I mean, there was a black TSA employee actually fondling this little girl here, a 6-year-old girl, as if, you know, she's got bombs strapped to her little body or something. It's just sick.
Well, that, you know, it don't matter because that dude was probably some Uncle Tom nigga anyway, Ghost. You know what I'm saying?
What, Uncle Tom?
Yeah, he was probably some Uncle Tom nigga anyway, just working for the man, Ghost.
I mean, what are you talking about, man? I mean, you know, what's an Uncle Tom now? Now you're getting racial. What's an Uncle Tom?
Baby, that's anybody. That's anybody who works for the man, baby. If you out there broken little tears because the man tells you to, you are.
Get him off! Get him off! Anybody who works for the man, you're getting paid by the man, you moron. You're collecting government checks. You're getting paid by the man. You milky-licking piece of nipple-clamp-loving, neglectful parent-having piece of trash. You're getting paid by the man. You're going to sit over here, call somebody who's an Uncle Tom, somebody who gets paid by the man. I ain't going to sit here and allow that riffraff to be broadcasted on my damn show. Are you kidding me? On the contrary, I think that race relations has been thrown back at least 30 or 40 years because we've got the ghetto president in office trying to spread the wealth out here, giving more and more entitlement increases to these losers that are doing nothing but eating steaks and feeding their kids rib meat and, putting, 40 ounce of Colt 45 in the baby bottle and all this other crap. I mean, this is the problem we have. Race relations has been thrown back about 30 or 40 years, for Christ's sake. Are you kidding me? You want to know why? Because they're acting like you, 213. They're acting like you. 213, they're acting like you, like, yeah, baby, look at me, man. I'm just sitting like here. I'm just collecting my check, baby. You understand, baby? I'm just sitting over here trying to feed my kids, baby. You understand? That's what you capitalists don't understand, baby. My kids, baby. My kids. I'm sitting over here trying to feed my kids, and you don't even care, for Christ's sake. My kids, baby. I got to feed my kids. You're not understanding. My kids, baby. I mean, that's what's really thrown race relations back about 30 or 40 years, for Christ's sake. And then for these, for people like this to say, somebody is an Uncle Tom, this is an Uncle Tom, that's an Uncle Tom, it's just ridiculous. So what? You have to act like some ghetto piece of crap that is a stereotypical, fictitious character like O-Dog from Menace to Society for you not to be a quote-unquote Uncle Tom? Huh? Is that it? You got to be like Snoop Dogg or something, to be a non-Uncle Tom? I mean, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's that mindset that has thrown race relations and specifically the black community back, a tremendous amount. I think it's this idea of the black community encapsulating this idea that hip-hop, this idea of rap and hip-hop is correlated with the race of black people. And it's not, man. It's a fictitious entertainment little medium that was created by white and Jewish elitists, you dumb imbeciles. And yet you've got black people out here trying to think that, yeah, look at me, I'm straight out the hood, baby. I'm straight out the hood. Man, we didn't see hoods. We didn't see gangsters. We didn't see thugstas until after the Chronic album came out, all right? Once the Chronic album came out in 1992, all of a sudden we started seeing people drinking 4 O's in the front of their houses in upper middle class America. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, this is what I don't understand. I don't understand why people are sitting here saying that, oh, man, you racist, Ghost. I'm not racist. I'm telling it how it is, all right? And in my personal opinion, race relations has been thrown back because you've got people like what 213 was just saying. 213 was like, yeah, you Uncle Tom, baby, Uncle Tom, the Uncle Toms. I mean, that is a stupid, dumbass slur, an Uncle Tom, because they want to get ahead in life. I mean, give me a break. Unfreaking believable, man. Yes, hip-hop was created by whites. I mean, how many black people in the hood do you know back in the 80s and, back in the late 80s, early 90s had their own recording studio and mass manufacturing recording outlet, I mean, seriously. I mean, how many of you know that? I mean, did Eazy-E have a tape in a CD manufacturing outlet in some factory in Compton somewhere? No, he didn't. All right. All right. Did all these people have access to this type of imagery and they probably had fashion consultants to show them how to look good in front of a camera and they're putting guns in their hands and all this crap. All this crap was induced by white and Jewish elitists, and you've got black America and black people throughout the international community, you even got white and Hispanic and Asian people believing that hip-hop is a legitimate lifestyle when it was created. It's fictitious. I mean, what was being promoted in the Chronic album, this idea of, yeah, baby, I'm in the hood, sipping on 4-0, baby, and all this crap, this idea was not prevalent in our society. It was a very small segment of American society in 1992. When the Chronic album came out. But when the Chronic album came out and MTV embraced it as a mainstream staple and you started getting it serious airplay, all of a sudden you started seeing gangsters hop up out of nowhere. Assholes carrying gats for no reason. Idiots in the middle of, upper middle class streets, smoking Philly blunts and sipping on 8-Ball. I mean, this is the kind of crap that happened. And now this medium of gangster rap has now become the majority of America. That just goes to show you how disgusting, despicable of an influence this media is, all right? I mean, it's just a disgusting, despicable medium. So anyway, I didn't mean to get off on that rap tirade, but in my personal opinion, race relations is thrown back, man. It's thrown back because black people, instead of moving ahead, instead of becoming some kind of a leader of their community or participating in capitalism or being a moral leader or something. No, it's hip hop, baby. Yeah, I got hip hop, baby. Yeah, I'm the man, baby. Yeah. I mean, seriously, man, that's what they're thinking. Like, yeah, baby, I got hip hop, baby. I'm just chilling like in the same building, baby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Ugh, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, folks. I'm just upset about it, man. I mean, you know who's a great black person that every black person should try to, aspire to be? Bryant Gumbel. You know? Bryant Gumbel is probably a black American that black people should go out and actually emulate. But no, they're not going out and emulating somebody like a Bryant Gumbel, you know, or Clarence Thomas or somebody like that. They're not emulating these people. You know who they're emulating? They're trying to emulate Snoop Dogg. Yeah, Snoop Dogg. I got my broads on leashes, baby. Yeah, look at me. I got my broads on leashes, baby. And Billy D. Williams is like, man, Birdman. They're not even emulating Birdman. If they were emulating Birdman, they would try to attain as much capital as possible so they can buy a $1.5 million Bugatti. You know? If they were like Birdman, they would accumulate enough capital and spend $250,000 at the Gucci store because, you know, he wanted to go shopping. You know, I mean, if they wanted to be like Birdman, they'd be emulating these types of things, but they're not. They're not. You know what they're emulating? They're emulating that I got everything in my mama name 'cause I'm hood rich. Da-da-da-da-da. You know? I mean, that's what they're emulating right there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just disgraceful, man. It's just utterly disgraceful. Anyway, that's enough. Let me go ahead and get off that topic. I don't mean to get so racial, for Christ's sake. Anyway, let me go ahead and move on to another. Well, actually, we were talking about the subject matter in the phone call. There's actually a viral video of a 6-year-old girl being groin checked at a airport security checkpoint by a TSA worker. And, you know, I don't know if you noticed this. These TSA workers, I mean, what qualifies you to be a TSA worker nowadays? Because to me, it seems to me like, you know, most of these people are you know, black, ghetto-fied individuals that were rejects from the hood, and they're usually bull dykes, or they're ugly, disgusting, despicable specimens, or they're like that fool Calvin. Hey, that's Calvin there, baby. He going to McDonald's. He making something of himself. You know, it's these people. You got Mexicans and, you know, minorities sitting over here. You know, having the authority to come over here and, you know, grope your children, you know, take a feel of your Johnson, you know what I mean? I mean, you know, fondle your nads as if they were checking for consistency, as if they were checking a grapefruit or something. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, what do we got here? Oh, yeah, it's, you know, very decent density, you know, a lot of, I mean, give me a break. You know, give me a damn break. And let me tell you something right now. The reason why this is happening, the reason why this authoritarianism is happening to us is because this is the government waving their fingers in our faces thinking that we're going to accept it. You know, I find it funny. You know, there's a stupid, dumbass program on ABC. It's by this fat, disgusting, bloated Mexican reporter named John Quinones. And if you don't know who John Quinones is, good, because this guy's hard on the eyes, to say the least. You know what I'm saying? This guy's a despicable. He's the type of scumbag that should be, you know, hooking up some ranchero bar out there in the border or something. I mean, this guy's a fat, bloated piece of crap. Anyway, John Quinones actually hosts this show called What Would You Do, you know? And he puts these irrational ideas, like, you know, they create this scene in a public arena, usually like a restaurant or something of that nature, and they put scenarios of actors that are acting out a scene, and they're basically observing the reactions of those that are unknowing of what's going on. And a lot of these What Would You Do programs encompass, like, a gay couple being intimate in a restaurant, and, you know, somebody comes up to them and says, hey, what are you doing? Why don't you keep that in the bedroom? Huh? What are you talking about? That's horrible. Get that out of here. And believe it or not, in this show, you actually have people stand up and take up all the time, taking up, you know, on the side of what. It's not just the gay thing. There's a whole bunch of scenarios. It's a show about what people are doing when confronted with certain scenarios. And, you know, you have all these assholes in the show, and you can do a YouTube search. There's a whole bunch of them online, folks. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just put "what would you do" ABC. And, you know, you have all these pompous asses getting up and trying to take defense for one of the actors or the other in these scenarios. But, you know, I find it disgustingly ill to my stomach that when it comes to the TSA groping children, and that's not the only child, folks, that has been groped and been put on the internet. There are children across the nation that are being felt up and molested by TSA workers, and they're being put on the internet, and nothing is being done about this whatsoever. And what boggles my mind is people that are observing this. Why aren't they saying something, huh? How convenient people aren't saying jack crap when, you know, people are observing a kid being fondled. I mean, you know, in a couple of these videos that I've seen about kids and their experiences with TSA, I find it funny that you have a whole bunch of observers, like they're all shocked. They're like, oh, look, they're searching that kid. They're giving a kid a groin check. He's only 3. He's only 2. She's only 6. And why aren't you speaking up? Why aren't you saying something if you're so disturbed by it? Why don't you say something to these people? Like, are you kidding me? You're actually searching a kid? I mean, is this necessary for you to search a damn kid? A small kid, a child. I mean, this TSA actually has the authority to molest your child legally. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about this stuff. And it makes me sick to my stomach that, you know, you have John Quinones out here with his stupid fat jelly burrito eating ass sitting over here saying, oh yes, we got a show, what would you do? What would you do? What would you do? And you got all these assholes in the show getting up to the defense and trying to stand up and take control of the situation. Where are these assholes when these kids are being molested by TSA workers in the middle of the airport? Where are these damn workers? Where are these people? Where are these vocal people in the stupid program when you've got children, when you got young children being molested in the middle of the airport? I mean, it makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach. I'm telling you this right now. And you should be just as sick also. All right? You should be just as sick as I am. I'm telling you this right now. You should be just as sick, but you know what? Nobody cares. Everybody's like, oh, it's okay. You want to feel up my kid? You know, who cares? Who's looking? Who's looking? You're a part of the government. You got a little badge, right? Even though you look ghettofied, even though you're talking as if you're an imbecile that should be serving me a burger, you know what I mean, or taking my order. But no, somehow the government has given you the authority to go ahead and, you know, fondle my Johnson and fondle my child in a molesting manner. I mean, it's just utterly disgusting and disgraceful. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, seriously. All right? I mean, can somebody explain this to me? What the hell, you know? Jesus Christ. I mean, is this thing on? I mean, hello, is this goddamn thing on, for Christ's sake? Our children are being molested by our government. Our children are being molested by our government. And nobody gives a crap. Nobody gives two rats' asses. God damn it. Is there anybody out there listening, for Christ's sake? Is there anybody out there? Our children are being molested by goddamn government. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, doesn't this piss you off, folks? I mean, doesn't this piss you off? It pisses me off. It should piss you off, but everybody's just asleep. Everybody's just asleep like no, must listen, must get groped, must allow child to be molested by government, must have government take x-ray picture of my privates, must have government have, and it's just horrible. It's just disgustingly horrible, and the reason is, folks, in my personal opinion, is we've allowed the masses to be in control of this government. And if capitalists were in control, this wouldn't be happening. This would not be happening. I mean, if anybody should be under surveillance, if anybody should be out here with all this oppressive and invasive type of search procedures and monitoring, it should be the fucking criminals. Excuse my French, but the freaking criminals. I'm talking about the murderers, the rapists, the child molesters, the robbers, the armed robbers, the burglars, the people that are a threat to human decency, the people that are a threat to private property. These are the people that should be monitored. These are the people that should be closely observed and have their rights infringed upon. But no, it's us, the taxpayer. It's us, the individual that funds this government that sits there and stomps us with their foot. And I say to you, and I will always say to you, until the capitalists rise up and realize that we're the one that fund these little people, we're going to continue to get stomped on, we're going to continue to have totalitarianism rubbed in our faces, and we're going to continue to be oppressed. And if the masses continue to have the authority in choosing the governing body for which oppresses us, then it's going to happen a lot faster than you anticipate. All right? I mean, it's going to happen a lot faster than you anticipate. So 646-652-4869. Let's take a couple of calls here. 111, you're on the air. Stupid, silly bastard. You waited for an hour and a half for that, you moron. Man, some losers literally, whoever the parents are to that particular person that waited an hour and a half to play some stupid song for 4 seconds, they should be neutered, and not to mention, they should be quarantined so that we can make sure not to, expose people to this type of ignorance, man, because this type of ignorance is contagious. And if you don't believe me, why don't you take a look at the world today, all right? Take a look at this disgusting, despicable world of savagery and butchery and murder and despair. Anyway, let's take another caller here. 408, you're on the air.
Yo, Ghost, what's up? It's Goofy Bone.
Hey, what's up, Goofy Bone? How you doing, man?
Man, I got into the show late. I was working overtime at work, but that was the topic of discussion today at work, that the TSA agent, all up on that little kid. One of my coworkers, her name was Rhonda, her son is 8 years old, and he got one of those searches, and she got upset with the officer when the officer cut the guy's, the little kid's, thing down there. So it's like, why do they have to go through those measures? Like, really, a kid's going to bring on a bomb or some sort of a knife or a gun? Or come on, are you serious? Especially
you want to know why? You want to know why they're doing it? You want to know why they're doing it? Because they can. They're doing it because they can, and they're just pushing incrementally more and more oppressive strategies to make this government more and more oppressive. Because remember, once the government becomes this oppressive, we become dependent on it. And if us as capitalists, if we're not going to say anything, and I'm not just talking about protesting. I mean, us as capitalists, we have to utilize our economic prowess. We have to utilize our political responsibilities. We got to utilize our social impact to be able to remold not just this society, but any society throughout the international community into understanding that I agree, not all people deserve freedom. Not all people deserve the right to have, the process of political responsibility. But those of us that are actually making society work, those of us that are actually creating the system, that are funding these bureaucrats, we should have a higher level of authority, and not only in this country but in this world, than everybody else that is just being nothing more than a detriment, a mooch, and somebody who's just crying for more and more when you're living in paradise. I mean, I know people want to say, oh, this is horrible. You know what's making this world horrible? People. People are making this horrible. I mean, not necessarily the people that understand that, hey, we have to live under civil order. You know, that we have to live under, you know, an idea of protection of property. We have to live under a civil society so we can prosper, so we can capitalize, so we can maintain goods, so we can, you know, have our property protected. Because without the protection of property, there's nothing. It's chaos. It's anarchy. And let me tell you, nobody wins in anarchy with the exception of the person of the biggest gang or the person with the biggest gun. And I don't like that probability. So you
I don't
look
like
at the
either.
No, I hear you, man. And you know, the only probability or the only thing one can look at is that the masses, the general masses, are becoming a threat to capitalists' freedom, to capitalists' way of life, and to the capitalist way of maintaining economic prosperity. And this is why I continue to say that the capitalists need to separate themselves from the masses. And I know that there's a lot of bleeding heart capitalists out there that are saying, oh, it's not fair, Ghost, we got to help them, we got to help these people. No. We only help ourselves. Those of us that understand that we have to get what we put in. And how do you know when somebody is one of us? They just have to pay taxes, man. It doesn't matter what they do for a living. I hate when people clown somebody because of what they do for a job. It doesn't matter what you do for a job. It doesn't matter if you're flipping burgers, cleaning enema bags, or cleaning the leftover secretions after a XXX theater. It doesn't matter what you do for a living, just as long as you're getting paid, and just as long as you're paying taxes, and just as long as you're not collecting from the government. And those that encapsulate that particular prerequisite should deserve our help, a capitalist help, and everybody else's help, because those are the people that are making things happen in society. Those people that are working, those are the people that are making contributions. Those people that aren't working, those people that are collecting money from the government, those are the people that are a detriment to our society. They are let's put it this way, they are the national security.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ghost, because, you know, I'm in the semiconductor business, and, you know, the thing that happened in Japan, that wiped out like 2 of our factories that make our parts. So it's like we got a backlog of maybe like 6-7 months of just getting new parts, and it totally threw a big old wrench in our fucking in our sprocket, because everything at work, everyone's struggling to get a sale. Everyone's trying to, you know, make some sales in Germany, Europe, you know, trying to get that sector, because right now Japan is totally shut down. Nothing's coming out of Japan anytime soon. I'll tell you that for sure, Ghost. But
yeah, not only that, it's impacted the automobile industry too. We're going to have an automobile shortage this summer, and you know, be aware of that. Everybody be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, be on the lookout, because if you need something fixed on your car, get it done now. Because I'm getting a new engine in my Dodge Charger, and the guy is telling me, man, you're lucky you're getting this now, because maybe in a couple of months you won't have an engine to be put in there. You know, so people are fighting for parts already. It's crazy, but you know, you got to stock up and make sure you get your stuff done now, because 2-3 months down the line, you never know what's going to go down. But keep capitalizing, Ghost. I got to get out of here. I'm just leave me on the line. And
no problem, man. Thank you for calling.
I'm here with the Corona. I'm here with a Corona and a nice good lime, Ghost. Cheers.
There you go, man. Corona with lime. And are you smoking any of that tetrahydrocannabinol?
Come on, Ghost. Every time I listen to your show, I'm always high. I'm always smoking.
Man. And it's legal over there, too. It's legal.
You know what the funny thing, Ghost, is the other day, a cop was pulled over somebody, like, right in front of my house. So I went out there like an asshole with my blunt, and I just smoked it right in front of him. And he kept staring at me. And he would just, you know, shake his little head, and, you know, he wrote the guy a ticket, and he took off, like, you know, because there's nothing they could do now. It's totally legal. You know, straight up legal. So, you know, I wanted to throw it in his face. But anyways, keep capitalizing, Ghost. Just leave me on the line, and have a good day,
No
Ghost.
problem, man. Hey, you too, man. Thanks for calling up there, Goofy Bone. Just give her a bone. You know how it is. Anyway, let's take another caller here, shall we? Area code 420. Huh? 420. What's going on? Oh, you just hung up, man. Come on. That was a good area code. Area code 420? Come on, call back for Christ's sake. Anyway, we were talking a little bit about, this 6-year-old girl that's been fondled. It's in this video by a TSA worker. It's disgusting. I think I pretty much beat that issue with a dead horse. Well, not beat it with a dead horse, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about airport security a little bit more, since the government insists upon having these molesters in the airports, giving you groin checks and molesting your children via the TSA. Let's continue on with the idea of airport security. Well, in one of the biggest and most highly so-called secure airports in the country, Denver Airport, between the hours of midnight and 3 or 4 a.m., a woman, staying in the airport waiting for a flight, got, I hate to say it, but got sexually assaulted inside the airport. All right? I mean, seriously. I mean, she got sexually assaulted inside the airport. So, where's the security? All right? You have the security to, form a line and have everybody be fondled by the same, asshole TSA worker, and yet you don't have enough security to make sure that some woman who's waiting for an airplane, catching the red eye, she's not, going to get raped by some psychotic, imbecilic bastard. I mean, it's grotesque. It's disgusting. And, the Denver security people were like, well, we'll look into it. We'll look into it. We'll make sure that precautions are taken. But you got to understand, between the hours of 11 to 5 a.m., there's not that many security. There's not much security in Denver International Airport. This is what they actually said. This is what the spokesman said. Between the hours of 11 to 5 a.m., there's usually not that many security guards, and there's not that many police officers walking around the airport. I mean, is that not saying, hey, we're a target between the hours of 11 p.m. to 5 a.m.? I mean, it's just, Jesus Christ. What are we paying this crap for? Why are we paying all these taxes if we can't keep the supposed safest places? We got TSA people fondling children for the sake of national security. Why exactly is this happening when you've got, security tighter than a nun's private part when it comes to the security in the airport? We got a woman who got raped in the middle of the airport. This was not like, took her into a bathroom or something. I mean, she got raped in the middle of the airport. I mean, can you believe this crap? Oh, Jesus Christ. Thanks, TSA. Thanks, security. Thanks, airport security. You guys are great. You guys are just unbelievable. All right? Unfreaking believable. You stupid, milky-licking pieces of crap. Anyway, man, and more good news. Let's move on to another subject matter. More good news. We reported, was it last week, Abercrombie Fitch, put out a G-string bikini for 7-year-olds with a padded, falsy breast bikini. Yeah, they actually got falsy push-up bra technology with the Abercrombie Fitch 7-year-old swimsuit line. So your 7-year-old can, wear a G-string and, have, a push-up type of falsy bra to go along with the bikini top with her exposed little body. This is Abercrombie Fitch's spring line for swimwear, folks. And not to mention, you think that's bad. On the damn bikini, on the damn G-string, it says wink, wink. Wink, wink on it. Well, it doesn't stop there, folks. It doesn't stop there. Anyway, J. Crew, which is some young kids apparel or something of that nature, but a definite yuppie, sticking with his fruity ass preppy, yuppie concept. Anyway, it put out a catalog yesterday or today where they show a 5-year-old boy with pink nail polish on, and with the caption, and of course I'm paraphrasing, folks, but it's saying something to the effect of, oh, lucky me, I found a boy who likes pink. Neon is so cool. And the boy sitting over there, a 5-year-old boy with his mother with a little pink nail polish on, you know? I mean, you know, this is just horrible, folks. I mean, you know, and then we wonder why our kids are turning out to be a bunch of sexual deviants. And then we wonder why our kids are turning out to be all screwed up. I mean, you know, an 11-year-old the other day came up to me and asked me about, was it 2 girls in 1 cup? Can you believe this crap? I mean, and if you don't know what it is, don't look for it and don't watch it. It is the most disgusting, disturbing, defecating material that you'll ever see in your life. It's gross, and it'll ruin the innocence that you've got, any innocence that you got left in your body. But seriously, I mean, this is why our children are turning into a bunch of deviants out here. You know what I'm saying? And then you've got Abercrombie Fitch and J. Crew and all these other yuppie, fruity-ass little apparel outlets actually championing these damn kiddie porn-like outfits. I mean, a G-string for a 7-year-old, for Christ's sake? A G-string for a 7-year-old that says wink, wink on it. I mean, give me a break. Unfreaking believable. Unfreaking believable, man. This is America. This is the new America. Huh? Welcome to the new America, where our children are now being utilized as sexual objects, as, propaganda for sexual persuasions. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, what's this world coming to? I mean, if it ain't the end, it probably should be the end. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it should be the end. I mean, you know, look at us humans. We're acting like primitive animals out here. You know, we're supposed to be the race of living organism that conquered this world. And look at us. We're savages. We're disgusting. You know? We're utterly disgusting, man. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Let me take some calls here. Area code 420, you there? Stupid idiot. You're probably sitting over there buying the damn Abercrombie Fitch and J. Crew catalog right now there, you butt-loving Woody Allen fruit bowl. You know it and I know it. So anyway. But this is America, folks. I mean, you know, I know this is a lot to take in. Believe me, there's a lot of bad news to cover today, man. I know this is jading a lot of people, you know. But, hey, man, this is what we have to keep ourselves aware of. We have to know that this is around, that this is existing. And I strongly advise everybody, please, you know, get a blog, you know, do something. Relay the information. Go to chat rooms. Go to forums, man. Spread it around, man. Spread it around like wildfire. Anyway, capitalistarmy.com is the website, folks. Anyway, I'm a little jaded, man. I know I got 15 minutes left, but I don't even know if I have the energy to do it because, man, I mean, it's just, 6-year-old girls getting fondled by TSA workers. 7-year-old girls being peddled G-strings, and push-up bras with the words wink, wink on it. 5-year-old boys being put into J. Crew catalogs with pink nail polish. I mean, good God, man. This is horrible. I can't take it anymore, man. I'm sorry. I don't have the energy. I mean, Jesus Christ. I'm depressed, for Christ's sake. Oh, man. Anyway, folks, let me move on to another subject matter. Anyway, on an even more gruesome and disgusting note, I couldn't get any more bad news, but a mother out of New York decided, after a domestic squabble with her husband, decided to take her and her kids out for a drive, and decided that she was going to kill herself, and gave the option for the oldest child in the car, because there were 4 kids in the car, gave the option for the oldest child in the car to either get out or they were going to go somewhere and never come back, sort of thing. Well, lo and behold, the 10-year-old kid gets out of the car and tries to run for help. Meanwhile, the mother and the 3 kids left in the car basically take a dive in the car over the bridge into the Hudson River. And basically the mother kills herself and kills the 3 kids, leaving this 10-year-old kid who she let out of the car having to live their entire life with this memory in the back, in the front of their minds. I mean, folks, this is the type of sick society that we're living in today's America. And this is why I continue to try to do this broadcast in hopes of, people out there listening. Hopefully you're out there listening and you understand that this is not a joke. I mean, we've got to do stuff, man. I mean, we got to do something. I mean, this is why I'm calling all capitalists, for Christ's sake, man. We got to do something. We got to take our authority. We got to understand that this is not the way things were supposed to be. I mean, I'm sick and tired of this crap, and this is one of the most gruesome stories, but it doesn't surprise me, I mean, I've been talking about mothers getting away with this type of crap for a long time. Like this bitch from Dallas that drowned 5 kids in her bathtub and is out in the streets now because of the temporary insanity plea that she was granted. I'm talking about Audie Sanchez out here in Texas, who bit off her kid's fingers and ate her kid's toes or whatever the hell. I mean, this disgusting, murderous piece of garbage who also got off on temporary insanity. You got this other bimbo who chopped her kid's arms off because, she said that God told her to do it, who got off on temporary insanity. And every year, and you can look back in the archive, folks, at blogtalkradio.com/ghost, every year I prognosticate that women across the country, now that we're heading into the summer months and the environment is getting really, really hot, you're going to have these bimbos. And they're already doing it here in Texas, folks. I mean, we've already had a couple of people do it. But they're going to conveniently leave their children in these hot cars with the windows up. And when these women are confronted, after they find the kid roasted, to death in the car in the hot summer, all they got to do is break down in this hysterics and the crying and lo and behold, these women get off. There's no charges that are put on these women. I find it disgustingly ill to my stomach that every year we have this dramatic rash of epidemics of women leaving their children in a hot car for the summer. And because they pull off these hysterics and, pretend as if they actually legitimately forgot their kid, it's a disgrace. I mean, to me, if you forgot your kid, then you should have forgotten your purse. And you should have forgotten to put on your makeup. And you should have forgotten a lot of other things. I mean, who in the hell forgets their goddamn kid? Who in the hell forgets their kid? But no, in this feminist movement, in this idea of society, oh no, these women are victims. They're just victims of forgetfulness. There's a bitch out of here in New Braunfels, Texas, in a little small town south of Austin, Texas, called New Braunfels, Texas. And this bitch was a supposed a writer. She was a writer for the newspaper of the New Braunfels, Texas, whatever the hell it's called. This bimbo actually had the audacity to do the same damn thing. Here, was it about a month ago, she left her kid in the car, the kid died, and she just, through hysterics, and I can't believe it. And any charges against the mother? No. None whatsoever. That's why I prognosticate every year, and I've been doing this show for 4 or 5 years. Every year, and I usually do it around May, but I'm going to do it even sooner because, these women are starting to, get tired of their kids sooner and sooner. But I guarantee you're going to see an increase in more of these types of murders. You're going to see, an increase of child killings. And the reason is, folks, is because these women know they can get away with it. They know that, even if they do commit an atrocious murder, even if they drown their kids in their own bathtub, even if they chop their kids' arms off, all they got to do is, use these pseudoscientist excuses of postpartum psychosis or temporary insanity or any of these other ridiculous excuses. They just got to fall back on this, and they can go home free, They can go home free. Have a man forget his child in the car. Have a man forget his child in the car, or have a man chop his kid's arms off and try to, claim temporary insanity and get off. Are you kidding me? He'd be laughed out of court. But this is the new America that we're living in, folks. Welcome to America. Anyway, I was going to read some emails here, but we got 7 minutes left in the program. And, man, after all that negative news, man, I feel a little depressed. I feel like going out there to 6th Street right now, having some drinks, hitting up the happy hour, and kicking back, for Christ's sake, man. It's just too much child killing, too much just infringing upon our rights, too much, just too much for me today, man. It's just way too much. So I knew I was going to read some emails, but I'm going to read them tomorrow. Thursday, I'm going to be here tomorrow, 4 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm sorry, folks, if I'm a little jaded today. I know that, people are used to hearing me, yay, everything's great, yay. But, man, let me tell you something, man. There's a lot of disgusting garbage going on out here that I just can't overlook, and it's getting me a little depressed, and I think I need to go out drinking. But anyway, please email me, ghostpolitics@yahoo.com. All right? That's my email address. If you want your email read over the air tomorrow, ghostpolitics, all one word, no underscores, ghostpolitics@yahoo.com. Not to mention, follow me on Twitter, folks. The Twitter name to follow is the same name, Ghost Politics. Is the name. That's what it is, Ghost Politics. GHOSTPOLITICS. Ghost Politics is the name to follow on Twitter. It's the quickest way to figure out when I'm going to do a broadcast. Not to mention, see some of my tweets, see some of my opinions. Sometimes I like to tweet these assholes that think they're famous, for Christ's sake, and try to piss them off. And it's funny sometimes. But anyway, that's the Twitter name, Ghost Politics. And, of course, folks, I want to see peeps on the CapitalistArmy.com website. I want to thank everybody who's already a member. I can see some members already in here. That Truth is a member, Goofy Bone is a member, Future DMB is a member. We got members up in here. I want to thank you for tuning in and being a part of the Capitalist Army. I want to thank everybody for listening in to the True Capitalist Radio Show. We got 4 minutes left in the broadcast, folks, but I think I might end it a couple of minutes early because, man, I got to shake off all this negativity, for Christ's sake, man. TSA workers are molesting our children. Women are just killing themselves, killing their children, leaving their children to die in hot cars. The government is, slapping us in the mouth. We're in all these, 3 or 4 different war fronts as a country. Jesus Christ, it's just getting worse and worse. And, not to mention that these yuppie-ass, preppy, stupid, dumb apparel companies like Abercrombie Fitch and J. Crew are sitting out here putting, boys in pink nail polish and giving 7-year-old girls G-strings with the words wink, wink on it. Jesus Christ, I mean, I've just had enough. I'm done. I'm going to be here tomorrow, folks. All right, blogtalkradio.com/ghost is the official website of the broadcast. And if you could do me a favor, all right, go to my website, blogtalkradio.com/ghost, and go ahead and put a like, a Facebook like. Believe it or not, people follow these types of crap. People follow these little Facebook likes. So if you can give me a thumbs up on that, I'd really appreciate it, man. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm so jaded. I'm sorry I'm so depressed. I'm depressed. But I'm going to get some more booze for tomorrow. I'm going to get pretty plastered. Maybe it'll just be a freestyle show tomorrow. Who knows? Who cares? Anyway, I'm out of here. Thank everybody for tuning in with me. Long live the capitalist movement, all right? Long live true capitalists worldwide. And I'm out of here, folks. Thanks for tuning in, man.
You've been listening to True Capitalist Radio. The thoughts, views, ideas, comments, and opinions of the host of this show are absolutely his. Catch more live episodes Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30 Central. Or check out archive shows at blogtalkradio.com. True Capitalist Radio.
That's it.
Boar's Head is bringing a slice of Japan to the deli. Introducing Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. Tender, slow-roasted chicken breast, coated in our signature teriyaki glaze, where ginger, garlic, and a hint of brown sugar meet for a flavor that's both sweet and savory. New Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. The bold flavor of Japan. Now at the deli. Only from Boar's Head. Compromise elsewhere.